going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone's doing well on this fine July 7th evening. Vega, always good to see you for these report cards. We're kicking it off with the 2026 mid-year report this year. But before we get into that, how are you doing, man? Good to see you.
I feel like it's been a long time, and I guess it has, right?
It's been a few weeks for sure.
Yeah. Summer fun. Summer tends to be the busiest time of year for my work. Kids are out of school, so families are up a wall and need plenty of therapy. So that works well financially in my favor, but keeps me pretty busy. A lot of my time has been taken up, but it's nice to have an opportunity to kind of get back into the statue stuff and reflect on, the first 6 months and, maybe rip a couple companies a new one. I guess we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. And of course, I didn't introduce you, but it's Vega, the statistician.
Oh.
As everyone knows you now. That's the new name.
I guess I should start typing that.
But yeah, we're going to talk about these companies. Some of them I think are going to be sweating. Some may be able to kick back and relax a bit, but I don't know. It's been a little bit of a rocky start to the year for sure. Let's see who's in the chat, and we'll get this baby started. Theo's here. What's going on, Theo? Good to see you. All right, I'll do it for you. Only for you.
Suck it to me, baby.
All right. We got Eco in the house. I predict a lot of C's and below on this one. Sideshow probably one of the companies with an A or B. We'll see how it goes. Kevin's in the house. We got Altered State here and Cylon. Good to see you guys. We got all the companies watching from behind.
Parts unknown.
Parts unknown. Let's do it, Vega. Brought to you, of course, everything brought to you by the historical tracker, the statue historical tracker.
All right.
You do a great job keeping track of that. So let's do it. Let's get these report cards out there.
Okay. In case anyone didn't know, it's 2026.
2026. Can you believe we're halfway there already? Jeez.
I feel like in my head, I tend to make fun of you and mock you for how shocked you are by the dates all the time. But I actually agree with you. At this point in the year, it feels really fast.
Yeah.
It does. Like we're breathing down the neck of October and Halloween time to me.
Can you believe it? Christmas countdown starting soon.
I was gonna.
I swear I was gonna make a post, but I've just been so. I think I saw somewhere it was like 170 days or something until Christmas, and I was gonna post it, but it's coming, man.
You're in your Christmas time. You started counting down the day after Christmas.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. All right. So as always, for both the mid-year and the end-of-year report cards and statistical updates, we'll start with some of the statistical trends, look at pre-orders and IPs and scales and pricing, of course, which is always a big topic. This year may feel a little different. I'm trying to be a bit more concise and broad with the information provided, not trying to get too heavy and bog people down and confuse them, but I do want to make sure that I provide, sufficient enough information to at least get an idea of how things have been going. All of this data is valid as of June 30th. I did stop the calculations for this presentation then. But when we talk about the companies, obviously there have been things that have occurred in the past week since June 30th that we can absolutely bring up and talk about, such as, the J&D head thing for that girl and things of that nature. But numbers, I stopped at the 30th. So we'll start with pre-orders. I feel as though this year has felt slow in a lot of ways, but pre-orders has not really been one of them. Thus far, we're looking at a slight drop from last year, which I feel is to be expected. Last year was a huge jump. I didn't think that it was realistic to expect a lot of the, maybe not Iron Studios, maybe not Prime One, maybe not Sideshow, but a lot of other companies to kind of hold up and keep up with just the state of the market.
Mm-hmm.
We talk a lot about pre-orders dropping, as indicated by ES's dropping. There doesn't seem to be as much collector push and excitement across the board. I'm not saying that there isn't the piece here and there that gets the community riled up. That absolutely happens. But overall, I think looking at last year hitting, I think I had mentioned last year hit COVID numbers.
Yeah.
Pre-order wise. It was the second highest total of pre-orders over the past since 2021. So, the past 5.5 years. This year is shaping up to be I think third. So it's not dropping down drastically. But compared to last year, a little bit of a drop.
Yeah.
Where we're seeing some changes and whatnot. This is companies that are these are where all the companies fall in regards to either increasing pre-orders this year, decreasing pre-orders, or not really demonstrating much of a change. Now, considering that we are at the mid-year, let's remember that these can shift greatly. Thus far, for example, Sideshow's had a slow first half of the year. I expect that with Comic-Con coming up, hopefully, all right, a lot of new reveals. I think the pre-order train, they're going to hop right back on it much harder than they have. But maybe not a lot of surprises, maybe some surprises. Prime One, increasing pre-orders, on pace to increase pre-orders again. I think that, Prime One has been a poster child, at least for me, in terms of being a company that is acting in opposition to what community trends have demonstrated. Orders are going down. Other companies seem to mostly follow suit. Prime One says, nope. In order to account for that, we're going to put out more pre-orders. And they're doing that again this year. J&D is doing maybe a similar thing. J&D has already equaled last year's pre-order numbers.
Full year, yeah.
And we're halfway through. So J&D is definitely looking to increase. Pure Art's a slight increase. It's a lot of these numbers, again, mid-year may not amount to a lot. XM decreasing pre-orders. Well, that's a whole different discussion. Same thing with Tweeterhead. We wanted to see those companies decrease pre-orders, so this is kind of a good thing. Maybe the only good thing they have done over the past few years. Not saying that either one of them is necessarily doing that much better in anything else, but at least there's decreased pre-orders there. And then you see the companies that aren't really moving very much, some for good reasons, and it's a promising thing to not change much. Some not so much. Some being indicative of maybe things not going so well, a la Supercraft.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah. I mean, that's just kind of where things are standing with these companies. I will show you the slide with the exact numbers. We're not going to harp on it. We're not going to stay on it. But I'm just going to put it up there for you guys can see where their pre-orders are right now, what they are pacing for this year, and compared that with last year's pre-orders, and then just the shifts, rise and fall, what things are looking like. All right. We're not going to harp on it. We're just going to leave it at that. The one thing I will say and note is that Prime One Studio and Iron Studios are absolutely ruling the market of these companies in regards to the pre-orders. Prime One and Iron Studios combined account for 60% of the market share on pre-orders.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. And what that looks like now, they've always been in the higher numbers, particularly Iron Studios. Iron Studios had a year with almost 200 pre-orders. So they have always had a large market share, but that is only increasing. This year, it's shaping up to be 60%. Last year was in the upper 50s. 2024 was under 50%, and the same thing for 2023. So what I'm really seeing is not necessarily Prime One and Iron Studios jumping up that much in pre-orders. It's other companies coming down. And some maybe disappearing, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
So,
sure. Very interesting to see those numbers.
Yeah. All right, hot topic: prices.
Oh,
Are they going up or are they going down? Most people say prices are going up. Well, you're right. They absolutely are going up. This is whoopsies. All right. So this is a little bit of a graph, but you don't need to worry about the numbers. I'm going to tell you the biggest change that is happening. So last year, the $1,200 to $1,800 range was really high. Okay. And we really felt that across companies last year. Now, what I'm seeing this year is that $1,200 to $1,800 range is going up. So if that's what you wanted to hear, there you go. Money's going. No. So 1,200 and 1,800 is going up. And then on the other side, that sweet 500 to 800 spot is also somewhat going up. And what we're seeing is that middle range in between those two, 800 and 1,200, 800 to 1,200 is coming down. So you're almost seeing a redistribution. So less 800 to 1,200 and more on the less and more on the up.
Yeah.
Okay. Ultimately, when you're looking at the grand scheme of things, you know, that below 1,200 pricing for years, actually, surprisingly enough, these price changes aren't as sudden as some people react to them as. This has been going on for a few years now. You typically ranged in the about 60% of pre-orders were priced under $1,200. And then you had that 40% in that upper range. And now what we're seeing is it's leveling out and it's about even thus far this year. Mm-hmm. It's 50-50. 50% under 1,200, 50% over 1,200. I just chose 1,200 as an arbitrary number. That's where it's at. And I feel like with Sideshow specifically, we have used, I think, John, you would agree with this, Sideshow for many years, and I think still so, has been used as a gauge and a thermometer for where
sure.
The hobby is at.
For sure. Yeah.
Right? Because they don't only manufacture, they distribute. They're the oldest name in the game still going at the speed that they are. And so, you know, once Sideshow started elevating into that $1,000 range and up, that's when we started going, oh my goodness, what's going on? The other area is to note is that $2,500 to $3,200 range is also showing a big increase.
Increasing, yeah.
That is a lot of that is coming from Prime One, and J&D.
J&D, yeah.
Right. J&D, though, what I will say about J&D is they've played in that price range.
Consistency is there.
Consistently.
Exactly. Yeah.
Prime One hasn't been as consistent, which draws a lot of ire and grunts.
Because I would have said last year they would have been in that 18 to 2,500 category, and this year you're seeing that bump up to that 2,500 to 32 for sure.
Yep. And here's just a little representation of what I was talking about. That 801 to 1,200 has fallen, and I'm seeing it redistributed on either side. So these numbers are the exact number of pre-orders this year that fall into these price ranges. Okay, so 12 to 18 by a lot, as noted. Yeah. Damn, that is a lot. And when excuse me, when that's compared to years prior, it's never been higher.
Yeah, so the trend is increasing for sure.
Trend is increasing big time. Again, this isn't a surprise, but these are at least context to the numbers that people are feeling. Okay. So that under 250 dropping for consecutive years, right? So that's a 6% drop there. We're seeing that 501 to 800. It's coming back up some, but it had a big drop from the prices we were experiencing in 2024. All right. Thus far, that is a 10% drop. And then we're seeing the big climbers. All right. That 10% just is going over to the $1,200 to $1,800 range. And then, of course, the big jump, 2501 to 32. Yeah, prices are going up. And it's not just, hey, I feel like prices are going up, or hey, the statues that I like are going up, or this one particular company is going, it's just going up across the board.
Yeah.
And I think as
the numbers to increase.
it is.
Yeah.
And I do wonder, I think it would be, I don't think it's crazy to say, hey, if companies are experiencing a big drop in pre-orders and they're not getting as much cash flow, it's obvious that they would increase prices to account for what they once were getting so they can meet those levels. But I do wonder too, which is coming first, chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
And then when you throw in, of course, we always reference, today's economical times and what things are looking like. That further complicates things. Do prices stay up? Well, you know what we say. If company can raise prices and people keep buying.
Exactly.
Why would they lower them?
And that's the thing, and you're seeing that jump because it's the higher end companies that are and even pre-order amounts. The amount of pieces they're putting in for pre-order is much larger compared to what we're seeing coming from some of the other companies. So that's gonna bump up the number as well.
Right. And then once we get to edition size, we're going to see that pre-orders are going up, but the other numbers keep going down.
Yeah.
In terms of the edition sizes. And I know that we don't necessarily know, and I don't know, maybe you can correct me. Has a company ever come out and really talked about how edition sizes are determined? Or has it mostly been our own kind of common sense competence and ideas into that?
For the most part, it's been more so on the collectors and making assumptions. I'm sure there's been an interview here or there where they've dabbled, a representative might have dabbled in the ES conversation, but for the most part, like an official document or statement made, I don't remember seeing anything like that.
Yeah.
It's more assumption.
Yeah. So, I think that if and I'm going to continue building on that assumption that, lower demand equals lower ESs. I think that makes sense. So when we get to ESs, I think that'll be really interesting. Average prices across companies controlled by certain scales. Okay. I tried to control these as much as possible to the scales that these companies prioritize, just to get a glimpse and an idea of what prices are looking like. So if we're looking at Sideshow, thus far this year, Sideshow's average price on their quarter scale pieces is decreased. Not by a lot, but it's essentially canceling out 2024's increase. Last year average was 830. This year it's about 802. From 2023 to 2026, it's a 10% increase in prices from Sideshow. And I specifically chose 2023 as a cutoff for a reason, and we will talk about that a little bit. When I was running a few analyses, what I noticed was 2023 is the year when things changed. In case people were wondering, when was it? Was it at the end of COVID? Was it after COVID? Was it during? It was 2023. Okay. So much change. So many numbers shifted. Prime One, we're starting to see some things increase a little bit. Yeah. I felt like last year I had mentioned that over the past few years, Prime One ultimately remained pretty level across its pricing. It had moments here and there where it really shot stuff up. And I think, John, you had mentioned, right, they make these intermittent attempts to test the market.
Precisely.
This year, I think they are done with testing and they're just moving forward.
Specifically second quarter, I believe. Yeah.
Yes. So we're seeing a 10% increase from last year. Overall, across 4 years, looking at an 11% increase, which puts them and Sideshow kind of neck and neck, just in terms of, what these numbers capture. In terms of a
this is just for quarter price. And third. Okay, I see what you did here. Okay.
Yes, just for quarter and third.
Okay, perfect.
Combined.
Yeah.
Since those have been their most popular scales, for even though, to be honest, I should stop counting third scale. That's how much they have decreased third scale production.
Okay, well,
It's not maybe as dramatic as I'm making it
it's
seem,
drying up though.
but it sure is drying up, and the difference between their third scale and quarter scale offerings are continuing to grow.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, PCS.
Wow, 47%. That's wild.
Yeah. So no surprise here. PCS is increasing prices a lot, and you don't have to go to their half scale or their one supposed 1-to-1 scale fine art bus to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Across these 3.5 years right now, 47% increase in prices across their quarter scale and third scale pieces. A big jump in 2024 to 2025. Thus far, it's coming down a little bit. Honestly, I expect that to level back out towards the end of the year. I know that PCS gets a lot of scrutiny, but they might be deserving of a lot of it. You know? Iron Studios. Iron Studios is honestly, I know that we are like, oh, Iron Studios and their Disney pieces and their deluxe versions. It's like, oh, goodness. Remember when you used to be able to get Iron Studios for $150 or $175?
70, yeah.
Well, that's like, 7 years ago. So I think it's time to probably move past that. But if we're looking, average price, honestly, yes, it's going up. It's going back up. It was up in 2023, came down. It's going back up again. But all in all, it's not increasing that much.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's interesting because people tend to cite Iron Studios a lot as, with the prices where they are now, they're unsure if their 10 scale pieces are worth it. What's that? The PCS
I'm sure the PCS Hyper Real pieces are skewing that number, but in that case, I would think it's other pieces like the Ghost Rider 1/3, the Predator they just showed, that was half though, so that wouldn't count. What else was there that they showed that was?
Well, their Davy Jones was quite expensive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're pushing 1850. Their Leonardo statue, the deluxe version, over 1800. The Spider-Man statue, the deluxe version, 1800. Right. They put out a deluxe version of the Fly statue.
Yeah.
Right. That's another 1600 there. Like this. Yeah. The company is putting out some, 2500, but they're playing in that 1800 a lot. And that's all it really takes to get this average price like that. Yeah. If you remove the hyper real stuff, sure, it wouldn't be as high. If you remove the hyper real stuff, I honestly don't think people would be as interested in their Star Wars stuff either.
No.
Right. Which isn't necessarily doesn't necessarily matter in the context of this discussion, but, here are some of the highest MSRPs for some of the companies' pre-orders for this year. I didn't put all 13 companies because some of them didn't really put much out, but this is what we're looking at, those highest prices. So to his point, yep, Hyperreal Darth Vader is their highest price statue for that first half of the year, which again stopped at June 30th. Obviously, if I extended that a few days, there would be a different piece there.
Yeah, obviously.
Right. It would be a $4,000+ Predator.
The half scale Predator.
Yeah, but this is where, right? Blitzway, Iron Studios, Sideshow, LBS, right? So on, so forth, Queen and PCS and stuff. So just an idea. Obviously, J&D's is a dual pack, so that one's a little hard. But even if I just took one of those pieces, they were either tied or were the highest price statues they put out. And then, of course, we have Prime 1 at the end with a super special outlier that is supposed to be really special piece.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they say, at least.
That's what they say.
That's what they say, right? 40 edition size?
40, yes. Yeah.
Except it's not a 40 edition size.
Did they put out a regular?
There's a regular all over the place.
Is there?
And I feel like no one's talked about it, but we're not there yet.
Okay.
I
haven't seen
we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Hexapus, Big Bad Toy Store, Spec, Secret Compass. Like they all have a regular version up.
What was the deluxe piece on this? Do you remember?
An egg, the extra
Oh,
egg. that
the
you
egg.
kinda see
So none
through
of
it.
the other ones come with the egg.
None of the others come with the egg. So the
Wow.
egg is limited to 40.
40.
40 of the egg, not this
See, that's
piece.
why we need you to work less and come back on Fridays. I did
Yeah, I
read
feel
one
like-
of your. I did read one of your comments actually, if I'm not mistaken. A couple.
Yeah,
of
I
weeks
tried
ago.
to
Yeah.
throw it in there, but it wasn't sure at that time because it was only one of the, just one of the distributors and not one that I
Yeah.
necessarily am as familiar with and trust as much. But once it popped up on Big Bad Toy Store,
Big Bad Toy
100%,
Store for sure.
right? Legitimate distributor. So yeah, there's a regular version. Just so everyone knows, TBDES. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway. All right, scales. We'll move through this pretty quickly. Quarter scale is king. That's it. Lots of half scales, a lot more half scales this year.
Yeah.
I think PCS is really leading the charge in that. I know that some people cite half scales being a bit of a strange kind of ground because for some it just looks like midgets. And then, for some they would just prefer a more detailed third scale, just for space and whatnot, and don't necessarily want that half scale look. But I mean, is what it is. Fifth scale, half scale. That's what we're seeing some increases in. I think the thing specifically with fifth scale to say was that a lot of times companies, specifically Sideshow, puts out pieces that we assume and say are probably about fifth scale or about fifth scale, but they don't always label them and they don't always identify them as fifth scale.
Yeah.
So they actually put them up as non-identified scales. This year, we're seeing more specific identification, less sixth scale stuff, and less of that smaller than 1/10 scale. Like, we used to get the odd 1/15 scale or 1/20th scale, either from Prime One or Iron Studios, where they take these extra large scenes, Jurassic Park stuff, other movie things, and shrink them down to a displayable size. Seeing a bit less of that. I feel like Prime One is cool making very large dinosaurs.
Oh,
yeah. So they maybe don't care as much about shrinking it.
Yeah.
And Iron Studios
and all that.
Oh yeah, Transformer stuff as well.
Yeah.
And Iron Studios is just Iron Studios fluctuates a lot with how much non-10 scale they release. Their quarter scales fluctuate. Anything like their demi scale stuff fluctuates. So they haven't really hit a consistent pace with those. All right, edition sizes. Here we go.
Boy.
All right. So I don't think it's much of a surprise to say that 251, 500, that range is where we're seeing the most edition sizes set this year. Now, the thing with edition sizes is it's really hard to study and examine edition sizes within the year that those pieces come out, because so many companies wait to set edition sizes later on.
Yeah.
So, these edition sizes do not account for most of the pre-orders that have come out this year.
Mhm.
What we're really just looking at is what are things pacing for?
Yeah, pacing. Yeah. I think that's healthy. 251 to 500. I think that's a healthy edition size to be at. for
Yeah.
the companies, to be honest.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I don't.
Especially with the prices, the way the prices are going up.
Yeah.
But we'll see if with the pace, like you said, by year end or even 2027 mid report, if the price increases, will have effect on the edition sizes.
Yes. Ultimately, 251 to 500, that's your biggest riser we're seeing this year. Biggest fallers, everything over 1,000. It's just almost non-existent. And I was really surprised by the past couple years how much we got in that area, those 1,000 pluses, because it felt like, they were far and few between. But if you look at these numbers, 501 and up, 8 thus far this year.
Yeah.
8. We're pacing for 16, which again, it's edition size. It's kind of hard to measure out. But we're looking, right? They're on pace for 16, but you look just last year, we had you know, 25 over
Over
750,
750, yeah.
12 over 1,000. This year, it's not looking like we're getting any of that.
Yeah.
And I felt like some of the pieces that have already come out were some of the better and some of the better opportunities for that
Mm-hmm.
didn't meet it. And I was surprised. Things like Killer Croc, I thought could get up there. I'm wondering about the Hulk. I don't think it'll reach that. I do think the Venomized Hulk will cut into that a little bit. I was actually surprised Jubilee got as high as it did. So it's like, where are you going to find those large edition sizes? If Sideshow can't get there, who can?
Mm-hmm.
It's Pure Arts ultimately, and even they are dropping big. Biggest thing to notice here: 92% of pre-orders have edition sizes under 500. We are pacing for a real low in those high edition sizes, and for some, that's great news, right? Perhaps we are moving back to a more collectible market, or perhaps prices are just too damn high. Okay. So this, I'm going to simplify really quickly. This is looking at 3 ranges of edition sizes. The yellow line is an ES of 500 or less. Orange is an ES of 501 to 1,000. And the red or dark orange line is any ES over 1,000. And how the percentage of pre-orders and their ES has shifted over the years. And what I found was clear that there is a clear distinction between pre-2023 and post-2023. Okay? You're seeing those low ESs, which is that yellow line, going up. Okay? And you're seeing the high ESs dropping. And I see 2023 as being that real distinct point. Now, the reason I bring this up is because it doesn't bother me, but I do notice that people still act like it's yesterday that Sideshow was putting out 3,000 ESs. And people still seem very shocked by the fact that ESs are as low as they are. But this is a trend that has been going on since 2023. So now this would end up being the 4th year of that trend. We have been in a new market for a while.
Yeah.
It's just taken time for the prices, unfortunately, to catch up to the low ESs. Here are the highest combined ESs thus far for the pieces put up for pre-order in the first half of the year. And you can see we are low. That fucking Terminator has a really weird number. But other than that, we are low, guys.
Everything's under 1,000.
Everything's under 1,000. And nowadays, a lot of these would be considered high.
Yeah.
We're in a new world. Time to move on. We don't live in the past anymore.
No, unfortunately.
But for John, we're moving closer to his past.
Yes, sir.
A little bit.
You're moving towards where I want to be. Yep.
Yeah. IP, we'll breeze through this too. It's probably not going to be too much of a surprise. So the IPs in gray are essentially staying the same. There's not a lot of shift from last year to this year. If they're in red, they're pacing for a decrease, whether big or small. And the ones in green are pacing for an increase in pre-orders. Okay.
Love to see Star Wars there, yeah.
Star Wars has really been getting a lot of love the past 2 years. Last year was a big increase.
Yeah, because of Blitz.
Last year was a big increase for Star Wars.
Yeah.
And now they're doing it again.
Yeah.
Not by a lot, but they are. I think the biggest thing to note for me, I'm a Marvel collector. Well, I'm an X-Men collector, really. Marvel is Marvel is pacing to have its lowest amount of pre-orders since 2020, since ever in the past. Let's see. So I've been tracking since 2021. This will be the lowest amount of pre-orders if it
not
continues
surprising. Well, it's not surprising just because I think there's a correlation between the Marvel and the cinematic universe when it comes to statues, and it's been absolute dog water over there on that end. So I think this is a direct reflection of that.
Yep, I would agree. I think that has a big impact on it. And this could be the first time since 2023 that DC pre-orders overtake Marvel pre-orders.
Yeah, that's wild.
So
we'll see if Avengers Doomsday has any effect on those numbers.
Honestly, I think it'll take a lot more than Avengers Doomsday. I think it will, but I think X-Men 97 helps with the X-Men stuff.
Oh, yeah,
but it doesn't have. I don't think it has a global impact in the way the MCU had a more global
Correct.
Marvel impact.
Yeah,
Nah, we're just gonna pass on from that. Not gonna worry about that now. That'll be more interesting at the end of the year when we are actually able to compare kind of the full numbers. Let's go to the stuff I like to talk about. All right, let's talk about releases. Let's talk about companies actually putting statues in collectors' hands. This is something that I'm very passionate about. And so thus far, this is what we're looking like in terms of company releases. Okay, so these are statues that have shipped. And this is where we're at. We're going to be able to look at this in a few different ways through a few different visuals. I think to note here is Prime One and Sideshow are pretty equal in releases, but their pre-orders are very different.
Yeah.
Iron Studios, my goodness, Iron Studios is redeeming themselves from last year.
Revolving door.
Like they were they were struggling. They made a bit of a backlog for themselves last year, but the first half of this year they are delivering. They've almost delivered 100 statues in the first half of this year.
That's awesome.
That's great. We have XM and Tweeterhead who are both, vying for, I don't know what you want, resurrection or a slow death or however you want to identify those.
They're both in quicksand, and we'll just use things faster.
There you go. One makes me very sad. The other one I don't care about. Pure Arts is doing a good job this year.
Good to see. Yeah, Pure Arts is a big difference from what we saw previously with the releases.
Yeah, and for those that don't remember, Pure Arts has 13 pre-orders this year. Pure Arts has 13 releases this year. I call that the golden one ratio.
That's great. Good for them.
Okay, and we're going to see that actually a couple times this year. This is a very big chart with a lot of stuff on it. Forget all the numbers and just listen. Those in the top have many more pre-orders than releases. Those in the middle have a strong pre-order to release relationship. And those in the bottom are having much more releases in some respect than pre-orders. Okay. My expectation is that companies would be in that middle part. I understand that they need to put up pre-orders. The company needs to keep going.
Yeah.
It's not good if a company is only releasing things, because then that makes me wonder, are they about to die? Are they just going to release? Are they just in their last gasp of breath?
Well,
and then the pre-orders will just fade away as they already are.
Jeez.
I don't know. We'll find that out with some of these companies. But I've taken this information and I've put it into a chart. Okay. Here you go.
Holy man.
All right. So here's the companies. This is where they are. The perfect 1-to-1 ratio. They're releasing just as much as they're putting up for pre-order. Okay. And then you'll see companies kind of disperse from that, either towards more pre-orders going up or more releases going down. And you can see up and away. You got J&D really struggling a little bit in the first half of this year. I think the biggest surprise for me, it's not Queen Studios, because this doesn't reflect the fact that Queen Studios isn't doing much at all. So
yeah,
these
they're
are
taking a different approach. Exactly.
very low numbers for them.
Yeah.
Overall. Biggest surprise for me is LBS.
Yeah, I was shocked to see them up there.
LBS had a really good pace last year. Their pace is not looking as good first half of this year.
Yeah, there were a few delays.
I know Wonder Woman's supposed to be shipping soon. That'll be helpful, but there's a lot of things that are supposed to be shipping already, kind of. We had Wonder Woman, I think Aquaman, waiting on Venom, maybe. Point is, they've really jumped their pre-orders up Oh, the Joker. I forgot about the Joker.
Joker, Harley Quinn, and Joker.
Yeah, Joker, Venom. Now those are supposed to be out. I think that they have some Q3 extensions. But you also have the animated series, as Theo is pointing out, and then the Flash was supposed to have already shipped. But I know that there were some changes with the Wally West stuff. I don't know if that held things up, but that's where they're at. So that was a little surprising for me. And then, in case you guys were wondering, we have the black hole of irrelevance.
Oh, mama.
Okay. We have a few companies that just, I don't really know what, but they exist. I don't want to just ignore them. There you go. Tweeterhead, XM, and Supercraft. Like, yeah, Tweeterhead and XM are putting out some things, but they're kind of a corpse mostly. And then Supercraft, yeah, sorry, I feel bad for you tonight.
Oh yeah, it's past that point.
Yep. Okay, now let's bring back the company deficit score. So this is something that I developed last year. Okay, and essentially what this is, it's a way to tell how behind companies are with the backlogs that they have accumulated. Okay. And the deficit score essentially says if all pre-orders stopped, this is how long it would take for them to clear their backlog based on how many pieces they release into collectors' hands each year. Okay. So for example, if a company has 50 open pre-orders, a 50 statue backlog, and they release 25 statues a year, 50 divided by 25 is, what is it, John?
Sorry, you got to repeat what you said. 25. Sorry, 25. I was...
50 divided by 25.
50 divided by 25 is 25. No, 50.
It's okay. John, let's remember he's Canadian. So the way they teach math, the way they 50 divided by 25 is 2, John.
Well, the puck, yeah, 2. But in what context? Okay, just keep going.
Yep. So if a company has 50 statues in their backlog and they release 25 statues a year, it will take them about 2 years to clear that backlog. So that's what we're looking at here. So here are all the companies and their deficit scores. Okay. How long will it take them to release all of their backlog if they stop putting up pre-orders? Okay. Sideshow, less than a year. Iron Studios and Queen Studio, less than 1.5 years. Tweeterhead and PCS, between 1.5 and 2.5 years. And then you have the companies that are at over 2.5 years to clear their backlog if all pre-orders stopped. Okay. It would take Prime One almost 4 years. It would take J&D over 4 years. It would take LBS over 4 years.
Just to catch up.
Now, this is based on where they are halfway through this year.
No.
They have 6 months to shift that along.
Yeah.
LBS and J&D specifically are not companies that have an exorbitant amount of pre-orders. They are just companies that have many more pre-orders right now than they have releases. So it wouldn't take much, a handful, a little bit more, to flip those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Prime One has a much taller hill to climb. And Supercraft at this point will never release anything. So,
unfortunately,
these are the numbers. If you ever want to look at these, you can pause it. I'm not really going to go into it too much, but I do have their total backlogs over on the right side. Some of these, and some of these are super.
It's sad to see LBS there, to be frank, compared to where they were.
Yeah. I think that they
do so to like delays that happen. Maybe they can pick up towards the later part of the year.
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. But the thing is that we've seen companies fall to the delay machine.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So I do have hope for them. I do. I do think that, they have a leader and a head of their company who does strive for improvements, and who is a collector himself. So I do feel good about what they are, what they'll be able to do. So that's it for the statistical analysis. Okay, we're going to move straight into company stuff.
That was
All right.
great, Vega.
I appreciate it.
Let me see where. Hold on, I got something for you.
Yep.
Okay, there you go.
So now we're going to move into the company mid-year report cards. Now we've already received a lot of information about these companies, so those things will be, kind of considered here. Some of those statistical points may come back up. We'll see. All right, so I have a couple things here that we can just skip through, but just a reminder: these are the categories through which John and I kind of analyze these companies. What the state of pre-orders are looking like and releases, QC. Public relations, customer service, and art direction. Number 4, of course, is very subjective, but that's okay. We're all humans. Go ahead.
I was going to say, are we humans or are we dancers? Oh,
I can't dance. I can't dance for shit.
It's a song. Anyway,
I know.
Just came to
I know.
okay.
But I definitely can't dance for shit.
Neither can I, but
okay. This is how I think of the grading system. We've never actually discussed this.
Oh, this is good. Yeah, we've never discussed.
We've never discussed this. I did not share any of this presentation with you beforehand.
Correct.
But maybe this is something we could look at for, later. But this is how I think of things conceptually in my head. I don't think of like B's and B minuses as bad. Yes, A is what you should strive for, but just because a company doesn't get an A doesn't mean that they're not, doing well.
Correct.
C is doing okay, right? You're average. I don't do E's. You just get an F. You're screwed. I don't know if you did. Did you use E's?
We never used E's ever. No.
Yeah, we didn't either. I don't know if anyone uses E's, and I'm unsure as to why that got skipped. Other than I know F can just mean fail, but we just skip E's. So now D is passing. I hate that. I don't know if that changed in yours. I don't know if you keep up much. Yeah,
no, I don't keep up with that. No.
Yeah, I still work with
That's
schools.
crazy.
D is passing. Okay.
Here we go.
Company number 1.
Ooh.
Yes, Jojo, we will have some pics of statues. What for each of these companies, what I will have is some pictures of some of the things that have gone up for pre-order, statues that have gone up for pre-order, and statues that have been released. Okay. Now, Blitzway is an interesting company because I only track statues, but this is a company that statues is actually more of just a little side gig for them. It's not really their primary bread and butter.
Correct.
Right. So thus far in the statue world, we have 1. Okay. Another, what do they call this? Action statue.
Yeah. So with
right.
Closable and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. And they've had 3 releases thus far. The 2 Star Wars pieces, which took quite a while to get into collectors' hands, and I guess the same for the T800. It took a while, right? All with varying degrees of response and reactions. So, what we're looking at here, these are the numbers. Their top IP is Star Wars. I didn't put it because it's just 1, and it was a little obvious. So, so they put up 1 statue pre-order. John, I don't know how much you keep up with Blitzway and the other things that they do, but if you want to add any of that, their figures,
like, figures so wise, not necessarily. I think figures was. I think people are waiting on the DeLorean still. I know that was shipping. I don't know how many of those have gone to collectors' hands, and the Ghostbuster figures as well, which was in the pipeline. But for the most part, I'm following the statues like yourself, so.
Okay.
I think people are still waiting for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen any videos or reviews or anything. Yeah, they've been kind of in their own world, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen anything indicating that those things have gotten in hand.
Correct.
At all. Nothing on their website indicates that they've gone out.
Correct.
But their website isn't necessarily the clearest with some of that stuff.
Final payment on the DeLorean, I believe, was requested. So.
Okay, so hopefully we'll start seeing some collectors receive that, and hopefully it lives up to expectations. Do we know whether Blitzway has split with Prime One?
there's nothing officially stated, but
Right.
looking
I feel like
it's
they have.
looking like it's being alluded to. Like for example, with that Superman Alex Ross, Prime One made a statement saying that it is completely. This was about a month or so ago.
Yeah.
That it's completely in Blitzway's hands. So, because people were continuously asking, well, where is it? Where is it? They passed the onus on to Blitzway completely. So.
Yeah. When you start pushing the
Yeah,
blame
it
onto
doesn't
another
look
company,
good. Yeah,
it's probably not
and
looking
I
good.
feel like I almost feel like Prime One's Master Line,
Real elite.
Real Elite, that kind of replaced Blitzway, in my
I
opinion.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I felt like that was a very calculated release. A reveal that that line, and I felt like it was very timely with the lack of updates from the collaborations. I do feel bad for those who were excited for this Alex Ross collaboration, because I'm not sure if you're going to get any more.
Yep.
I don't know.
Justin just mentioning he's still waiting on the animatronic Endo bust and the DeLorean. So.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So they still struggle. Still a little bit there. That T800. People were excited for that.
Very, very expensive.
Very expensive. Was there a sculpted and a sculpted hair
mixed media
rooted
hair. Yep.
Okay.
Kind of sold as that kind of elite piece, and came out. Collectors were talking about the hair color being off, some of the paint application when it came to the blood on the throughout the figure wasn't good. Some pieces not being screen accurate and so forth. I don't think that piece was well received for the most part. Some people received it and they absolutely loved it. It looked photographed well, but I think for the most part, it wasn't as well received as you'd want a piece of that caliber to be.
Yeah. I saw some of the pictures. I think the blood application was the most disappointing for me. I do wonder too, and I wonder it because I still see it a lot of the times. These Blitzway and Prime One collaborations, I feel as though collectors don't always know who to point the finger to.
Correct. I think Prime One gets the brunt of it, to be frank.
Well, they are the face who front and center would reveal these statues,
collects the
and
money and so
them.
forth, for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Right. Yeah. But I think it's not as well known, or not. Yeah, I just don't think it's as commonly known that Blitzway, as far as we know, Blitzway produces the statue.
Yeah. Prime One's a license holder.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the quality and the paintwork and the production time and the actual getting it to your hand, that's, as far as we know, that's all Blitzway.
Yeah.
Which doesn't look well, for the T800. Which brings me to really wonder, what is Blitzway's place in the statue market? Like, where? I feel like they have a niche, but it's so damn small, it's not worth mentioning. But is that a niche? I don't know, because the Star Wars license it's a bit more widespread than
it's becoming competitive now. That's the issue. I think when they first came out, it was, wow, Blitzway's teasing these statues. This could be a ton of potential, affordable price. Same with the other pieces like the Scarface, the Tony Montana, the Legend, and the Rocky. Well priced pieces, great looking, but I kind of just feel like they were delayed a bit, and that excitement kind of just fizzled out. They didn't continue to keep up that excitement for that line. I just feel like it fizzled out. They've been released for quite some time now. We haven't seen anything else.
Right. I don't feel as though they market very much.
I think that's
at
great.
all.
A great
Not
point,
even well.
Yeah.
They just don't.
I think because they depended on Prime One to do that. Right? Yeah, they do their figures as well, which whatnot, but I think Prime One was the leader in the marketing when it came to the statues. So maybe something for them to work on now that they're working with themselves.
With the Legend, the Rocky, and Scarface, were those collaborations too, or is that Blitzway on their own?
No, that was Blitzway on their own. Yeah.
Why not run with that?
Yeah,
I feel as though people were really positively
Oh yes,
responsive to those final products.
yeah, because the price was great, the likeness was there. Yeah, the tailoring could have used a little work here and there, but for the price points you were paying, you can live with it.
Right.
They should have taken that and completely ran with it, which goes to show maybe there's something else going on behind the scenes that we don't know with them.
Yeah, could be. But
Yeah.
I feel like they could really fit that $500 to $800
Oh, for
market.
sure. Oh,
That
for sure.
that right, we've seen a big drop in over the past couple years. They
Hmm.
can fit that, and they can do so in the movie world, right, in the likeness world.
Yeah, because
Whereas,
they have the name, the reputation with Prime One, and yeah, people for the most part were liking it, not only that, but they kind of tried to bring in a little bit of innovation to the statue world with those action poses.
Mhm.
Were they was that idea loved by a lot of the statue collectors? Not necessarily, but for the most part, we don't know if that was a great vessel for bringing figure collectors into the statue world,
right,
because you still have that posability. So I do applaud them for taking, trying to bring some innovation to the market. Will it pay off? We'll see. For the most part, I don't think those pieces are in hand or in the hands of the masses yet, but we'll see if it pays off for them.
yeah, I think that there is a mark. I think there's a lot of opportunity here for this company, and I just don't see them grabbing at any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So at the end of last year, I came at them with a C plus. John, you came with them as at a C.
C, yeah.
I mean, they delivered on pieces that they needed to deliver on that they hadn't delivered on at the end of last year. So I think that's a positive. That
Positive.
Anakin, yeah, the Anakin and the Obi-Wan action statues were supposed to be late last year. I think Q3 probably or Q4, and they didn't really come out till this year.
Yeah,
So
and they're still
late,
trickling out.
yes, right.
Yeah.
I don't think they're producing large batches at all.
Correct. Yeah.
So yes, you got some things out. That is great. However, there's still plenty that people are waiting on.
Mhm.
The endoskeleton skull, the DeLorean, the Ghostbusters. Like,
Yeah.
I think they're kind of in the same place, honestly. I don't see myself shifting this grade very much.
I kind of want to shift to a C minus, frankly.
Okay.
I think with last year, there was still a timeline for those pieces, and I find that moving into this year, the radio silence, just
Mhm.
complete silence, no communication with collectors. Collectors were asking about the Scarface, that trio we were discussing, and it was just radio silence until eventually they started trickling in and pictures were shown. But yeah, I want to move it to I think my grade for a C minus because again I feel like they just abandoned the line. If you asked me right now where does Blitzway stand as a company, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I could
That's a
see
fair
them in
point.
a direction of like where Tweeterhead and XM were heading to because they're just there. They're just stagnant. They're just what pre-orders did we see? We saw that one pre-order
Right.
on the statue front, but I can't tell you where Blitzway is. They didn't speak to the relationship with Prime One either. So yeah, I'm at a C minus for them.
Yeah, I just talked about how I feel like their marketing is absolute crap, like they don't exist.
Yeah,
And sure, you can say a company doesn't have to market as much if their product speaks for themselves, but they're not putting out
exactly.
product to speak for themselves. So this might come as a shock to people, but I agree with John. I think a C minus is probably appropriate.
Yeah, because they're getting the pieces out. The pieces are what were shown as prototypes for the most part. Doesn't look like there's been much of a change in the production, so they're getting them out. But as a company, where are you going as a company?
Yeah.
You agree with me? Wow, we should have a button for that.
Don't get used to it.
Like that was easy button. Remember from Staples? All right.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now let's see if we can agree again.
Oh, okay. Just yeah.
All right. So first, to who was it? Was it Jojo that was wondering if we had pictures? Jojo, I got pictures for you. Here are all these pre-orders. Good job.
Wow.
No pre-orders. Exactly what
I
want to see. And then here are the releases. Here we go. Let's go.
Pivot. Jeez. Oh my God, is that from Spy Kids? Jesus.
Oh boy, Supercraft. This is what we have to do to entertain ourselves because you won't give us cool things to look at behind us.
Oh, it's so sad. Well, the expiry button has happened. It's past that point, way past that point.
So I'll review their numbers real quick. Pre-order 0, release is 0, pre-order and to release ratio is 0. Their deficit score is going on to infinity. Their top scale is nil. Top IP is nada. Top price range is niente. And top ES range is keiner, which is, I think that one's German. I don't remember.
Okay.
So, Supercraft. It's been 1 year, 7 months, and 29 days. I think I calculated it to today.
Roughly.
Since they put up their first pre-order in November of 2024. There have been 4 pre-orders in total, and we have 0 releases. So Supercraft makes me wonder, what exactly does it take to stick around as a new company? I don't know that this is the model to follow. Don't. Sorry for you. Now,
No.
John, what is your reaction to... So we initially last year... Was it last year?
The year before.
Yeah.
Even.
Yeah, so the year before, right? So in year before we were having... Well, 2024, end of 2024, right? They put out those pre-orders. And then into 2025, we didn't hear diddly squat. They didn't.
Correct, yeah.
They didn't really say anything, except about mid-year. I think in the early summer, they released. They sent out an email, and it had production updates or production sample updates. I think for the Batman, which
Correct.
at that point you should have been way past production samples, but that's either near here nor there because we already know where things stand now. And since that time, now, yes, some of this was captured at the end of last year's report cards, but since that time, there's just been this trickle of little tricks or little treats and trinkets to try and hold the Batman people over.
Book, this, that, whatever the fuck. It's, yeah.
Do people,
No,
you feel as
I don't
though...
think,
Okay.
Justin's one of the guys that has it on order. Paid extra too for some of the gold and stuff. He's kind of upset. You know how I was when Supercraft came out. Yeah, not necessarily a fan of what the Transformers, but when I saw the Batman with the Birth of Justice with the Bruce Wayne and the whole like, there was a company that wanted to do that. They didn't get it approved. It's iconic. It's an iconic scene, and Batman was their best piece. They were bringing something to the table with the innovative new business model of adding this, that, and the other, and you could kind of customize your order. It was cool. It was fresh. And I was a little bit more lenient on them just because they were a new company. Mm-hmm. Give them a chance. They're a new company. They're coming out as a new company in some of the hardest times of collecting. I'll give them a chance. That chance, and I got a lot of flack for that.
I remember. I gave you a lot of it.
You did too. Yeah, you were one. That chance has now expired, and I have absolutely no sympathy for this company whatsoever. They went on stream very knowingly well that these pieces were going to be delayed. They went on different streams, including on the channel, promoting other product, trying to sell other product, knowing that these pieces were going to be delayed. It's a slap in the face to collectors, if you ask me. We also got the news that their art director had left. Mm-hmm. That's not good news either. So for me, they're a dud right now. Till they get that Batman piece out, they're a dud. I think it's going to be... It's not just about getting the Batman piece out. How are you going to reassure customers at this point to continue to pre-order? It's almost being in the same boat as an XM with these delays. Delays, hardly any communication. I'm not a fan of what's going on. And I think people forgot about them. I think the fact that Prime 1, these other companies have been there putting out so many pre-orders and so many good pieces, right?
Yep.
That's money that Supercraft's leaving on the table for other companies to take. Sideshow, and that's I only give the Prime 1 example because price point wise, I think they compare more to like a Prime 1.
Sure.
Not necessarily J&D because that's even more, but that's why I say. But Sideshow put up some amazing pieces. But you can use Sideshow as an example as well because people will buy multiple pieces, more than one.
Right.
So for me, they've just become another notch on the belt and a dud until they've seen, till we see something from them.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really feel like I have to say much because I feel like you captured all the points. I agree that their Batman piece with a little bitchy Bruce on the front was was one of the best Batman concepts I've seen in a long time.
I agree completely.
I agree. I didn't really care for everything else. I didn't hate anything else, but I didn't. It didn't hit the same. It didn't hit the same. It didn't hit the same.
Yeah.
I like what JT said. I should add that on here. We do have a 1 for the Supercraft books. They did get a book out, so that is great. Did the art print get out? Did people get that?
Art print came out. Yeah.
Okay, people got the art. That's good. At least they. So what we do know is Supercraft knows how to use a mailing company. That's not an excuse, right? They know how to send things from one address to another. So, Theo
messaged them about that Morgan, and they went on to say that we sincerely apologize for the extended wait. Please be rest assured that the project remains actively in progress. So, we are working diligently, and we will notify you immediately the moment we have a confirmed timeline or hit the next major production milestone. So, again, it's diddle daddle. Like, you're asking about Morgan, but Transformer or Batman isn't out yet. So can you imagine how long you're going to wait for that Morgan?
Right.
Unless they're going to pull 3 statues out of a hat ready for delivery and shipping. That can happen too. Then we'll analyze it at that point. But as of right now, what are you thinking?
I don't know how high we were last year to have given them D's, but it's a freaking F.
Yeah, same here.
It's an F.
Yeah.
And that's not hard to figure out.
Yeah.
Oh, Supercraft. Can't wait to see a piece in hand, hopefully, one day. I do hate your business model, by the way. John praised it. I want to say I don't like it.
It was different.
It was different. I like the idea of some form of customization. I don't like the way they chose to unroll it, though. But I do like the idea. I think something simpler for me. I've thought about it some. I won't get into it now, not just to not hold things up, but I do like the idea behind it. All right, let's move into Infinity Studio. This is a company that I see really shifting even more than they had already kind of been. They've already been, Infinity had already been this higher end kind of quality over quantity. We're gonna put a lot of work into these, higher priced pieces. We're not going to really worry about pushing 20, 30 pieces out. That's not what we're doing. We're going small in terms of numbers. And so we have 3 pre-orders thus far this year for the statue game. Sexy Red Girl, John's favorite Batman, and then I don't remember her name.
Lord of the Rings.
I'm not a Lord of the Rings guy.
That's fine.
The releases, finally, people getting the deluxe version of the Natiri bus, the regular basic version without all the fun foliage and base stuff was released at the end of last year. People started getting the bonus version or deluxe or whatever it was, and then of course the full scale statue. It's been a very blue year for them. This is what we're looking at. Infinity is a company that I see very widespread. They aren't really focusing thus far this year on a lot. Number one, okay, 3 pre-orders. Each pre-order has its own scale. Each pre-order is with its own IP. All of them are 1,800 plus, and they all have low yeses.
Yeah.
So
you know, the thing with Infinity Studios, I think they've become a thing of the past. I think they've been dethroned. I think when you're looking at competitors like Queen Studios and what they're bringing to the table, and not and even more importantly, what J&D is bringing to the table, I think Infinity Studios has been dethroned. Personally,
I think that both Infinity and Queen Studios have been dethroned by
J&D.
by J&D. I think
Yeah.
when I think J&D entered their market and took it over.
Yeah, I agree with
Really, yeah. We'll see that Queen wise when we get to Queen. Last year they did offer some pieces that were a bit more on the affordable side, under 1,200. This year, zero. ES's last year, they did have a few over 500. Nothing like that this year. They did announce a collaboration with Wuthering Waves, which is an RPG of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
They announced that in March. So there's still going to be other things coming. They at least announced, hey, we got a new IP coming. We know that gaming is big. So, that's a great market to remain in. Obviously, they're already in the gaming market some. And they have a little backlog, for a company that isn't pushing out a lot. They have a backlog of 11, and thus far they're only looking to be on pace to release 4 things. That's not good. That's not what you want.
Yeah. And I think with them it's a lack of communication as well. They're not very active on the social media front.
No.
For the most part.
No. I don't think
go ahead. No, I was just going to say, I think the best, the nicest thing that got people speaking was that Bat Flag bust. Because it had released and people were thinking that it was fairly at an affordable rate. But other than that, where did Infinity go at? Arcane as well, Eco's saying Infinity has the quarter scale.
Did they put out a new one? Because they put up the 2 quarter scales last year. The Jinx and the however you pronounce the VI name.
Yeah, but J&T has the Arcane too, right? That
they just did the new head
That's
sculpt.
Going to absolutely demolish the Infinity, if you ask me.
Well, and those were in the Infinities. Were quarter scale. I believe they were fully sculpted. I don't know that. I think they were though, because I think they were very dynamic pieces. So, whoops. So they have IPs that people seem to still be interested in. People are still interested in Lord of the Rings, right? That has a huge fan base. They still have gaming stuff, right? They not only have the Arcane, but they also have is it World of Warcraft or
it's World of Warcraft? Yeah.
Is it World? Yeah, it's World of Warcraft.
Valyria, that red one is where she's from. Yeah.
So they still have that stuff. So there's still a place for them to play, but I just
again, same with Blitzway. They've just become another notch. There's not. I don't think when I hear people with excited in the community and talking about companies and pieces, I don't hear Infinity Studio mentioned.
Well, again, like you just said with Blitzway, you have to try. Companies have to try.
Yeah.
Even Prime One Studios, who is the king of pre-orders, they put together these elaborate showcases to present their statues to the community and keep themselves front and center. And yes, they also do other dumbass things that keeps them front and center too. But with their statues, they make the statues a highlight of what they're doing. Infinity, Blitzway, other companies. The current market and in collecting environment is not one of there's plenty of people around. There's plenty of money to go around. Collectors are more selective. Collectors aren't bringing in as much statues. You either have to put effort in to get those orders or you're just going to disappear.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of last year, we were in the bees. You want
to go first? Go.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think something is, something to note is they're not, I don't know that they're late on a ton of things. So yes, you have let's remember that there's a difference between having a backlog. That's just an open pre-order. Doesn't mean that the entire backlog is late.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is a difference there. They're not late on a ton of things, but right now, there's a couple things that were supposed to have been released uh, by Q3 of this year, and I have seen nothing about them at all.
No
I don't
updates,
know.
nothing.
Yeah, I don't know if the Saruman life-size bust is out there. I haven't seen any updates of whether the Steph Curry is going to be ready on time, which that wasn't the right. And then you had another third scale bust. I think it was a WoW piece. So it's just like, where you're not advertising anything, you're not marketing anything, you're not really out there. I don't know if they're communicating with their customers because they aren't putting a lot out there to have a large customer fan base.
Yeah.
So is Infinity Studios even operating? I have no idea. So that makes me feel kind of like, then what did I don't know that I can keep them at a B. What am I being them for? They're kind of non-existent. So I'm definitely going to go down. I don't know how much yet.
Okay. I'm at a C plus for them. I just think the lack of communication. I'll be honest. I'm a little torn between the C plus and the B minus because they did put out the Avatar pieces, and for the most part, what we're seeing, they were great. But is that enough? I don't think it's enough to just put out a release and then just evaporate. I'll keep it at a C plus. Like I said, I just think they're living in J&D's shadow, and I want them to come back and be the company that they were when they put out that Terminator Genesis. I think it was Genesis, that Endos, the fucking what's his name, the Arnold Schwarzenegger one with the whole arm, and how incredible that was. That Sauron bust they did. That's the Infinity Studios that I want to see come to market. Like I said, this is a pattern company like Blitzway, a mirror image, if you ask me.
Okay. So I went B. So I think I'm going to go all the way down to a regular old C.
Okay.
I'm just going to go C. I think they are okay for right now, but you got some legwork to do. At least throw some things out there to collectors before the end of the year, please. Well, sign of life, por favor.
Oh, pure arts, nice.
All right, let's flip maybe to a more positive side.
I think so.
So here's some of their pre-orders. I don't put everything possible. I just want to put some of the highlights. You'll see a real trend here. Lots of face type things. Seems to be their market now. Some of what's gone out in hand for people, or at least is in stock on their sites. This is where we're at. I mentioned earlier, they are at the magic 1 ratio. Okay, 13 pre-orders, 13 releases. That's the kind of stuff I like to see. They're releasing a lot of things billed as 1-to-1 scale. All those they're busts. I don't care that they call them masks. Okay, they are essentially busts to me. They're putting out a lot of gaming pieces, as they always have. I don't expect that to change. They do have a bit of a deficit score because they did fall behind last year with putting things out on time. There were quite a few delays that they are still working through. So there are a lot of things that have already supposed to have been released by this point this year, and we're still waiting on. Even a lot of their smaller 1/8 kind of reissues for the Animus version of their Assassin's Creed statues. Pretty much all of those were late. So still have a bit of a backlog to work through. I think that it's cool that they announced that Expedition 33 license. I know that's a really popular game. I don't know if it won Game of the Year, but I know it was nominated. They haven't been doing their live streams as much as they were. I, I,
I
yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
that's a correlation with the cons they're attending. I
Okay.
know Dan's been con hopping the last a month or so, if not even longer. So I think that's the main reason why. That would be my guess, because that's the one plus with Pure Arts is they actually attend the cons, bring the product over, and they've stayed consistent with that.
Yeah, and I can't I won't fault them for that at all. But I really did like the the pre-order structure they were following. It seemed like they were finding some consistency with,
Hmm.
teases immediately before the pre-order, and then day of pre-order you get a live stream
Hmm.
with the piece physically presented. I really like that model, and I hope they
Continue
uh,
it.
just continue that. I think that that's really helpful. Like I said, lots of art masks, lots of heads and faces. That's 62% of their pre-orders this year. Last year, they were a part of the crew that had some really high ESs. They had some, 1250, 1500s. They had a couple that were, I think, about 2500. This year, we have none over 1,000.
Yeah, the poor.
So
Yeah.
I think that they're normalizing to where the market is, a bit of a regression there. Um, I expect this part to normalize by the end of the year, but last year almost all of their pieces were game related.
Hmm.
This year, thus far, game has been about half of that 13. They're doing a little bit more with the DC and movie stuff.
Diablo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you know, I think it's cool if they're able to diversify and be successful with it. But
I
they
think they
have been
have
such a staple in the gaming stuff.
I think they have a fan base, a solid fan base, if you ask me, that they
Yeah,
cater to.
yeah. Even going like I would say that half scale Spock, that's different,
Hmm.
right? Going half scale. They've done the half scale gaming stuff, I know, and I haven't been tracking Pure Arts for very long, so I don't know if this is something that they're returning to. But to see a half scale movie or TV show piece from them, I thought was really interesting and perhaps a real opportunity for them, especially since Star Trek obviously has a big fan base.
Oh, for sure.
Um, so it would be nice to see if that one is successful, considering it has that ES of I think 300, though it was a $3,000 piece.
Yeah.
I think you have some positive
Yeah, I like what Pure
perspectives.
Arts. Uh, they don't necessarily. They make some great pieces. Not necessarily something that I collect yet. Am I open to collecting? I saw that penguin mask. Absolutely love it. But I think they have a solid fan base. I like how the company is run. Dan, great person, acts as the face of the company. Does the YouTube streams, attends the cons. Excited, hyped. I think that brings a lot of confidence to collectors when pre-ordering. Number one, because you have a face you fall back on, right? There's that reassurance almost. It feels like um, big jump from where they were last year when it comes to releases.
Mhm.
So with them, I'm seeing continuous improvement, which is a plus. And yeah, I hope the major things is they continue the live streams because I think that was a really good way to get collectors involved. And the cons continue to attend the cons. For me, they're the first company I was able to see at a con this past weekend actually, and the booth is just packed. He brought all the stuff over, had all the masks, had some of the Diablo stuff, looked awesome, and it was just rammed with people. So
Okay, that was the
those are
first company you had ever seen at like a booth like that.
yeah, first company. Yeah. Because
Really?
I'm in Canada, right? So
Oh, we all know.
yeah, so they're based out of Montreal. It was the Montreal con, set up a nice booth. It looked awesome. Um, yeah.
Okay,
So
very nice.
and
Well, look at you.
it's like you said, the IPs they have, they're diversifying. Expedition, Diablo, you got the Assassin's Creed. There's a little bit of everything for everyone.
Yeah, they were definitely leaning heavy into their Assassin's Creed stuff. I think that has been their moneymaker mostly for quite a
for sure.
while.
Yeah.
And we started seeing, some real, even last year, there was a lot of Assassin's Creed, but, they were throwing in some, Borderlands and Resident Evil and whatnot. And this year, I think there's one Assassin's Creed pre-order. No, that's a lie. Actually, that's true. One Assassin's Creed pre-order, but then they did release some Assassin's Creed pieces that were
backlogged.
No, that they put up for immediate release.
So they put ready to go. They
was ready to go. It was all this Edward Kenway person.
Yeah,
I don't know what game he's from, but they did an 8th scale piece. They did a bust. They did a replica arm blade thingy. And I think that a company doing that every now and then is fun.
Okay, Jeff's in the house. What's going on, Jeff? Saying Star Trek. He loves Star Trek, but it doesn't have the reputation for selling very well in the statue world.
Dang. Well, hopefully things shift for them. If not, this might be a one-off, which I know some people would not like. I wonder, Jeff, for Star Trek fans, what do they collect? Like, what is the big market for that fan base in terms of memorabilia and things like that?
Awesome.
All right. Last year, let's see how at the end of last year we were. Oh, look at me being more positive.
Because they were delayed big time.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. Which is something typically I kill companies for. Yeah. So I'm surprised that I was as positive. But I'm definitely going to be positive. Still, they're still behind on some things, but they are not hurt. They're not continuing to hurt themselves. They're not continuing to create a larger problem thus far in the first half of this year. So I think I'm going to go with just a solid B for them.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to be as well. Okay. I hope the continuous improvement will and the continuously releasing and hitting all the marks will get them to a B+ by the end of the year.
Yeah, that would be really good because it would be nice to see some more companies kind of move up in that upper echelon of just operating well, kind of well-rounded operations. Okay, yep.
Oh, mama.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. 3rd scale. Well, they're more than that now. Silicone skin, glass eye, hair implant, ultra-limited quantity, hand-checked quality, guys. That's what you're getting with this company. Let's see. Let's look at some of these pre-orders here in case you forgot. A lot of everywhere. We got games, we got anime, we got movies, and then we have an entry into the quarter scale world. Releases this year. We got a man and we got a hoe.
Wow.
I mean, look at that. I don't know what else you'd say. She's looking pretty hoey to me.
Is Guts a man?
I don't know.
What man can endure what Guts has got? No, okay, that's fine.
Oh man,
we're gonna philosophical there.
A little bit. J&D. So we had noted, or I noted earlier, in terms of pre-orders and releases, J&D was not doing very well. J&D has really picked up the pre-order game this year, but those releases are not following behind. So they are creating a little bit of a backlog for themselves. Like I said, their pre-orders, they are close. They are pretty much set to double last year's pre-orders. And I don't know if they had the production ready to meet that. I am hopeful, though, because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that people are receiving notices for the girls.
I haven't heard anything of that yet.
Okay, I don't know if I saw someone saying that they had received something. I thought I did. That they had received some notice kind of in preparation for the Eventaki. And if that comes to fruition, that's either early or on time, so that would be good. Only 2 releases thus far. We know J&D is historically a 3rd scale company. They do a lot of movie, TV pieces. Deficit score ain't looking good. A lot of that is being perpetuated by this year.
VP got it. No,
okay.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so
Thanks, man.
that'll be really good, very helpful. We know that they are high priced, and I do think, I don't know, 251 to 500. I almost feel like, I guess they can be there. They say everything sells out all the time, mostly.
Hmm.
I
At their
feel like
level, for sure.
at their level, I do wonder, as things continue and as we see the market going where if it continues to move in the direction it's going, I wonder if we will also see J&D's ESs cut down a little bit more
Back
too.
down. Yeah.
But I think the big news for this year, honestly, is the fact that they have entered the quarter scale market, let alone the quarter scale comic market. A lot of people seem to mostly feel positive about that.
Correct.
I did not feel like it was as big of a game changer as people made it out to be, mostly because J&D, I don't know that they don't have the numbers to, I think, shift a lot right now. I don't know that putting out one Superman quarter scale piece is really going to change the quarter scale game for other companies. You know,
what I think it does is, though, I think it puts a break to companies like Queen, who tease the quarter scale comic pieces like the Joker and Dark Knight Returns Batman, for example. And what this does is J&D, and with the popularity that they have, it's just another hand at collectors' wallets.
mm-hmm.
And it's another option for collectors, which in my opinion hurts companies like Queen, who likes to take their time to put out pieces, and they go to the shows, get the hype up, but look how many years it's been, we still haven't seen that Joker or Batman. So I think this is J&D trying to tackle that high end kind of comic quarter scale at an affordable price for the most part.
Yeah,
that's them trying to put their name out there and take over that side of the business. But they haven't admitted this year they've been struggling. Right? It would be a lie to say they aren't struggling. They've come out and said that they are. So that could have been a pivot to see if they can make money on that end of the business.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I think that, I don't know how I feel about, James's novel long posts all the time.
It gets redundant.
But they sure do at least say things.
Yeah. The communication's there for sure. So you can't complain too much about it. Yeah.
No, but in regards to kind of the reception to their stuff, I've seen some recent, or I heard some recent things about the Aragorn production piece, the
hair, the portrait, the likeness.
Portrait. Thank you. Yeah. Portrait not really living up to likeness expectations for this company.
Which was already happening at the prototype stage, so people were addressing their concerns with the likeness and comparing to Infinity, comparing to Queen, for example, and it wasn't doing too well. So it doesn't look like they took any of the advices that were given at that point.
Yeah, I know that there was also, and I see that Wayland's mentioning it in his comments. There was also some stuff that I know. Was it Cypher who took a bit of a community pulse on and delivered some of that information to J&D regarding the Eventaki and the production versus prototype differences that were posted. I don't know if anything came of that at all, or if anything will.
Yeah.
But that's another area in which J&D, I feel like, from where they were a few years ago, what they had done over the past couple of years was create a reputation for surpassing their production, being able to deliver something equal to or better than what you pre-ordered.
Correct.
And I think, Wayland's making a great point. The Aragorn, the Eve, the Taki, I think there's some questions about this.
Back.
Yes, there's questions about the Supergirl release. We'll talk about Jinx too, but is all of this going to retract the goodwill that they've built? Will collectors be less enthused with kind of jumping first thing on a J&D piece,
Exactly.
you know.
And that's
Um,
what they had. That's what made them so popular, and is that the prototype, the production matched the prototype or was better. So I hope they don't lose that.
yeah. So the Supergirl piece is interesting because it's third scale, right?
Correct.
It's a third scale piece. I feel like they're kind of going. I don't know. I feel like they're doing interesting things.
It's like a
You
chicken
have
without a head. Doesn't know which direction to go in.
a little bit, a little
Yeah.
bit. You know, you've established this third scale hyper real stuff, and yes, you pull from movie and you pull from some anime stuff. Very cool. Yes,
Hmm.
you got that. And then you announce that you're going to enter the comic world, and you start with quarters, and you're going to enter the quarter scale world. Like those are big announcements, and you do that, and now you're going. You're not even doing. You're doing comic, right? But you're using a specific artist, which is fine. It's comic. You're taking a comic artist inspiration
Hmm.
for a third scale piece. It's like, look, buddy, if there's anything I feel like companies could really learn, it's this. The time of the random one-off pieces for collectors is mostly gone.
Gonzo.
Collectors have to be selected now.
Yeah.
They have to buy things that ultimately will fit with the collections they are building. Collectors are much more inclined to buy lines than ever before.
Iconic characters.
One-offs were worth the risk when you could then sell the one-off if you didn't like it, it didn't fit, whatever. That's years gone.
Yeah.
So if you're going to start throwing pieces all over the place, scale-wise, inspiration-wise, IP-wise, and I'm not saying J&D's there yet, but they sure aren't showing right now a bunch of focus with this new comic endeavor. You could end up stretching your fan base thin, and with no clear direction of where that's going. You think people are going to be dropping $25,000, $50,000?
Precisely.
Not knowing where things are going, willy-nilly, not able to really build something out of that? Dad, you are hard-pressed, buddy.
Yeah.
Hard-pressed. Oops. Yeah, I mean, prices could be shifting a little bit. I expect that it'll probably normalize back to last year's numbers, but they had a lot more in the $3,200 plus range last year. Most of those were those double packs. I'm pretty sure we're seeing a little bit less of that this year, but we'll see whether that actually continues or not. A lot of pieces still waiting on from this company. So, what's up?
Yep.
Where are you at? What's going on?
And that's from a company that was on time or even early when it came to production time. So,
Yep. Couple of things that I still kind of waiting on. I think they still have at least one 2024 pre-order that I haven't seen any evidence of being in hand. That Squid Game piece they did.
yep.
Yeah. It's a couple of years ago. So let's go. Where are we at? I mean, this is a company that came from a reputation of making candle wax to really being respected enough to, depending on whatever your definition of sellout is, I don't really care about the semantics. Their pieces are selling to somebody.
Correct.
So I hope to not see that kind of fall backwards. And I hope to also not see them fall into this pattern of delays and not being able to deliver things on time. Because when you combine that with some of the other concerns that may start arising, you have a recipe for disaster. I'm gonna let you start.
For me.
I'm gonna let you start with this one. You're gonna go C plus.
Yeah, I think they've taken a step back. I was one of the advocates of them last year, where they, like you said, candle wax. That's what we compare them to, and they strapped on their boots and boom, took off. This is the first time since that uprising that I see them taking a step back. So I'm gonna give it a C plus. I hope it's not a C by the end of the year. I hope I could get back into the Bs. But
Mhm.
right now, just the way that they've been conducting the business, even with this latest jinx with the extra portrait and making the collectors pay 600, and yeah, the collectors have to pay 600. It's an extra portrait. But why don't you give this improved one with the original release and the original one you put out? Make the collector pay the extra 600 if they like that one. It's just, it's all over the place. For me, I feel like they're trying to pivot in different directions, business wise and with IPs, to see what sticks. We'll see what happens with them by the end of the year, but I'm gonna C plus with them.
Yeah, I'll go B minus.
Yep.
I'm gonna drop 2 letter grades and hope that it does. I like you. I hope that it doesn't have to continue. This is their first stumble, maybe. What does the recovery look like? We'll wait and see.
B minus, you said?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh boy, who's next?
All right, LBS. Let's see.
LBS.
All right, so thus far this year, a lot of Marvel, little DC.
Solid list, yeah.
All right, 2 versions of everything, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how they're differentiating some things. You get shiny Green Lantern, matte Green Lantern. And then some releases.
Mm-hmm.
Not too much. I think that's the big problem. That's where I need to see more. 6 pre-orders, 2 releases. Total numbers, not the worst. Ratio-wise, not the best.
Yeah.
They continue to be a third scale juggernaut. I don't know if there's actually going to be a third scale juggernaut, but I assume there will be. They continue to kind of focus on their DC and Marvel lines. They have not chosen to introduce anything new, any new IPs or anything like that. I think that's good. Stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
I discussed earlier, they have found themselves in a little bit of a deficit. They do have some catching up to do on some pieces. Some of the stuff from 2025 still needs to come out. Not necessarily late, but we should have kind of been there already. Flashes were supposed to be released. I don't know if they put up an update on that. The Jokers, sometime Q2, Q3, expected to be released. Venom is supposed to be coming out soon. Batman the Animated Series piece is supposed to be coming out soon. And the problem is that's a lot to be saying it's supposed to be coming out soon, because typically you're not going to get that many pieces coming out all at once. So inevitably, I expect that at least half of those are going to be delayed. Not a good pattern to find yourself starting. Have seen them expand a little bit, though. We're getting some humans. We got the human-sized Sentinel, which I have coming home, and I'm still very excited about. They put out a bust version of that. We know that the Apocalypse bust is coming.
Yep.
So a slight diversifying, not too much, which has been my biggest concern, is that LBS speaks a lot of hopes about what else could come, quarter scale stuff, dioramas, and I think all of that will be great in due time. They continue to build on their existing lines, which I think is smart. Maybe not to everybody's like in terms of the speed at which they're focusing on certain lines or the way in which they're dividing the attention in the releases. I understand there's been a bigger focus recently on their X-Men stuff. I do think that is the nature of pop culture, with X-Men 97 being a big deal. But we see them getting back a little bit to the Avengers line with Loki and showing the Black Panther reveal. So I think that's good. I think community engagement from this company continues to remain strong on both ends, listening to feedback, sharing feedback. I do, one of the things with the Wonder Woman, it was, it had a little bit of a delay getting out, but there was active steps taking to improve the paint apps for the skin, which has been, highly scrutinized, but in a constructive way, I think, or at least in a way that they were able to receive it and bring and use it in a positive way. I see this company skipping some ways the traditional kind of exclusive version. You got the Joker, which had an ultimate version, so you could have him or you could have him with Harley. But then most everything else seems to be this version where you're getting two alternate versions of a character rather than both statues at their base version can look the same. And then you have extra add-ons for whatever the higher end version is. Now you're getting go ahead.
At most they do this the pre-order bonus. That would be at most. They do the early pre-order bonus. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we're getting alternate versions, right? Yeah. The two Venoms look different. The two Flashes look different. You have two Green Lanterns, they're painted different. The two Sinisters, you're getting a classic and the Krakoan.
Which is a smart approach, I think.
Yeah. They still sprinkle in a premiere version here and there, right? The Loki, you get some swap outs and stuff. But you also get Fenrir for the base. I think it's nice. It's good. I think they're providing enough for both ends of their collecting spectrum. Yeah. They're keeping prices under 1,800, mostly, pretty much. This year they are. Last year we saw some pieces, but again, it's Joker with two characters on it. The Batman animated series, which was a big diorama piece. So I think when they are pricing things over 1,800 based on the overall market and where other companies are pricing things, I think they're remaining competitive. DC saw a huge increase in DC pieces last year. This year, DC and Marvel are evened out. And we already talked about it. The pacing on the releases is a little slow. They're in danger of building a backlog. And they're going to cons. Yay.
Toy cons, very important. Yep.
Yay. All right, take over. All you.
Yeah, when it comes to community engagement, you know that LBS has always been there. I think that's continuing. No fault there. Product-wise, I think the continuation of the lines, the Marvel line, they're keeping people excited with the characters they're doing. We had stated that Marvel earlier was dying down, but I'll tell you, when I saw that Loki, that Black Panther, those are pieces that I'm like, damn, I wouldn't mind adding those to the collection to continue the LBS Avengers line. So they're keeping the consistency when it comes to their lines and delivering on representing the characters in statue form, in my opinion. They've come a long way. We've seen it from that divorce between them and XM to now running the company on his own. He's doing it. He's going to face a little bit of a backlog now. I think all companies are, more or less, some worse than others. But that is one theme that's consistent throughout all the companies is a backlog. The thing with LBS is at least the backlog is due to improving the statue. So, for example, in the Wonder Woman's case, they're improving the Wonder Woman, Harley, they improved her portrait, etc., etc. The thing that I want LBS to work on moving forward is just bringing the best product forward day one.
Right.
Almost like a J&D concept, right? Where I want the prototype, well, in this case, the production's becoming better than the prototype, but I want the prototype to be up there.
Yeah.
Where, we don't need to take pieces back to get repainted and so forth. I think that's the one area LBS needs to work on, and I think it'll help with future releases and the backlog. There won't necessarily be a backlog because you won't have to take the pieces back, get them repainted, which will then delay your pre-orders. Becomes a whole mess. So that would be my advice for LBS. But other than that, I think they're killing it. The thing with LBS is consistency, communication, pieces, etc. They're making pieces that people like, and you don't have any worry that they're going anywhere because the communication's there, and you can see the business model present.
Yeah. And I, with a backlog, the thing that I look for other than having a backlog is how is the company's numbers responding to that backlog? And with LBS, yes, they have a backlog, but they're not making it worse. Exactly. They are not increasing their pre-orders. Their pre-orders right now are on pace to be the exact same thing as last year. Right? So they're not increasing it. They're not making it worse. They're keeping it at the same level. And by the end of this year, I do expect these numbers to improve, just based on where things have been. John, you do mention we're seeing this whole backlog, lateness, delays. It's a common theme. I'm thinking how I noted earlier in the statistical analysis that 2023, there was a big shift. I'm wondering if we're about to see another one.
Yeah, maybe. Yep.
Into 2027. I don't know what's going on with factories. I don't, but I do believe there's some crap going on between companies and factories. Sure. There's too much smoke for there to not be some fire. So I'm wondering
if there's too much consistency between the companies having these backlogs that some, of course, like we said, worse than others, but the consistent bottom line is there's backlogs. Yeah. And you're hearing in some cases that the fingers are being pointed at the factories. Well, again, we don't have to get into that, but okay. What are you gonna?
All right. End of last year, they received an A, and I would say at that time they had done a good job of balancing their pre-orders and their releases. I think that's the biggest drawback that they're facing now. This is their first, other than the paint stuff, which they have demonstrated improvement. Mm-hmm. This is their first real stumble just in regards to their production model and their production process. This is the first stumble. I'll be interested to see for the rest of this year whether they're able to pull that out or not. But they are experiencing a stumble. So I will move them to an A-.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna actually just keep them at the A.
That's fair.
I want to see what they're gonna do for the end of the year. I think that they're stumbling, but I think they're handling it well, right? And I don't want to, right, because we saw that issues with the Wonder Woman. They brought it back to the paint. They kept you in the process of the paint applications and the improvements. Listen to feedback, and now we're getting updates that it's going to be shipping. So, yeah, there's drawbacks, but the drawbacks are due to trying to improve the product, the existing product. I'm going to keep them at an A, but I'm going to put an asterisk because it is like borderline A-, like borderline A-, almost B+. So it's going to be interesting for the end of year. For now, I'll keep them where they are.
All right, fair enough. I feel like there's not going to be a lot said here. This will probably be pretty fast.
Who's this? Oh, Queen. I thought it was going to be XM. Okay, fine.
Because there ain't much. There is just isn't much to say here.
You're right.
There you go. You got the graybeard man. There you go.
Yeah.
One very fresh release. Honestly, my question is, where is Queen Studios? Where are the licenses? Like, what the hell happened?
They've taken us. The problem is, again, it's a company, a chicken with no head. They have made it evident that they're going to focus on quality, not quantity. And we've seen it, right? The Terminator bus and so forth in previous years. But yeah, they're just all over the place. Like, you go to a Wonderfest and you see all these amazing pieces, and then you just never hear of them again. Similarly to some of the other companies we hear with a showcase. But do they deliver when they put something up for pre-order? Does the product live up to the standard that they put up in the prototype? And for the most part, with some of the pieces that we've been seeing, I would say it's more so positive than negative.
I would agree.
Yeah,
I would agree. This is a company that we made. I feel like every time we do a report card, we note, Queen Studios is a company that's taking a step back.
Yeah.
Taking a step back. Well, they're taking so many damn steps back, they might be out the damn door.
Exactly. But something to note as well is, don't forget they're running InArt, the figure company, out of the back end as well.
Exactly.
So I think
that
a lot
more of a focus now.
Exactly. Yep.
Right? Is statues. I think of Queen Studios closer to like a Blitzway.
Almost.
Will they focus a little? Are they just focusing more on the 6 scale stuff and everything other than
Yeah.
statues? Because they, they took a step back in 2024. 2023, you had kind of more of their typical year, almost 20 pre-orders. 2024, you took a step back around 10. Same thing in 2025. And now you come here and we have one. We have one. Now, is that because they're focusing on getting the rest of these 2025 pre-orders out to people? Because it's big pieces. There's a lot of one-to-one statues they put out between full size and busts. We have the Anne Hathaway Catwoman, the Dark Side, Hulk. So there's a lot of big pieces they're working on, and so yes, I expect that things are going to be a little slower. I expect that they need to keep their numbers low in order to meet their deadlines, if they can meet the deadlines. Nothing that I have of note other than a couple things here and there are late. So like 2 things I have late this year. I haven't seen the Fourth Sister be released from Black Myth Wukong.
I heard the Fourth Sisters with the second cousin, but
Alabama, gotcha. And then still waiting on that Jet Power Optimus Prime.
See, you mentioned
which yeah, go ahead.
No, what were you gonna say? Go. Which one?
I was just gonna say I assume I will know that Jet Power comes out because Ledge will be all over it.
For sure, Ledge is funny too. Ledge is all over this Hulk too, which is funny. We have a lot of people are, but the thing here is, I think Blitzway. You mentioned Blitzway. I think Queen Studios is an upscaled Blitzway, but still in the shadow of J&D for the most part.
Okay. Yeah.
The one thing Queen was lacking on, Hulk was delayed. A ton of delays with the Hulk. Yes. And I think something they got to work on is the communication. There was definitely a lack of transparency and communication throughout that process. That's something that they have to work with. Yeah, there's their pieces when they release it, like we said, the Terminator bust, and they brought innovation to that Terminator animatronic. Yeah, they their hands at new things and this and that, sure, but you lose all faith when you got that lack of communication. I think that's important, and you got to stick to the schedule. They're not releasing in a massive amount of product that they shouldn't be able to keep to their release schedule.
That right there.
They're basically non-existent at this point. So, yeah, that's pretty much where they lie. They got to work. They got some things to work on for sure.
Yeah, of the statues they put up for pre-order last year, all of them are supposed to be released by the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Thus far, one.
Thus
far, one. So they have 9 left to get out. So
that'd be surprising.
Yeah, that's a big hill. That sounds like a company promising to release their entire Marvel backlog by the end of a year with 4 months remaining.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is where we were at the end of last year.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna bring them down to a C. To be honest, I'm gonna bring them down to a C minus.
Okay.
I just don't like the lack of transparency, and they're delayed. It's just it's a handful of product. It's a handful of product, and more pre-orders. Right? We get excited when the pre-orders come, but if we're gonna treat one company that has a large amount of pre-orders and a lack of product coming out, then we gotta kind of level out the playing field on different scales, of course, because this is nowhere near some of the other companies. But I just feel like when I think of Queen, if you ask me right now, what am I going to think of? I think of pieces they released last year and the year before. Nothing this year. They've been pretty much a dud the first 6 months of this year, in my opinion.
Yep. I feel like I'm experiencing a bunch of companies that I don't expect to talk about again in 3 years. That's what I feel like I'm doing. I'm on. We're doing the farewell tour. This is the start of the farewell tour. because some of these companies just don't seem like they care to stick around. I'm going to drop them to a C, just a straight C. Don't know who you are. I don't know where you've been. I don't know if you'll be around. Okay, now.
Oh boy. Don't do this. Okay.
All right. I would just like to remind everybody that this was my favorite company at one point in time, and it still saddens me to see where they have fallen. All right. So 2026 pre-orders. None. Good job. Some 2026 releases. Not as good of a job. Guess it could be worse. Could be better. Yeah. So I note here that essentially I feel like where we were with XM Studios in 2024 is exactly where we are now in 2026.
Pretty much.
Nothing's really changed. Yes, they've released some pieces.
Still not all the Marvel pieces, though. Still not even all the Marvel.
Not even all the Marvel pieces.
Well, we were supposed to get. So yeah, I'll let you say your piece. I'll go into it. I'll say mine. Go ahead.
My piece, I believe, will be emphasized by the next slide. So XM gets a special slide. XM gets a special slide. Okay. Oh, I do want to say, note here, right? XM has put up no pre-orders this year, which is good. But if they don't put up any more pre-orders at the rate at which they're releasing statues, it'll still take another 6+ years to finish.
Do they have any licenses to put statues up for?
I don't
know.
But here we go. You ready? XM Studios. I know you're not going to watch this because you don't act like any of us exist, right? You turn off comments on your posts. You're done with us. But I just want you. Do you remember these? Do you remember these?
Oh boy.
What about any of those?
Is that still what's outstanding?
Oh, how about these? And then let's not forget your recent attempt at getting money. So, yeah. F.
That's crazy.
It's just an F. I don't even have to make it to the grade.
I don't even know if we should even be including them in the report cards, to be honest. That's how bad it is.
Well, I include them in the report cards out of hope that one day I'll be able to go higher with my letter.
I actually think I'm on the opposite thing. Look, they've slapped you collectors in the face, left, right, center. Interviews that were full of shit, that if you rewatch interviews, publicly apologizing, publicly looking into a camera, with almost tears, apologizing and saying the differences that they're going to make, be more communicative, transparent, and they're shutting off comments in the Facebook group. If you guys keep running back, you're crazy. Shut this door. The only reason, and I'll tell you this, the only reason they don't shut the door is because they will be demolished. Can you imagine if they close the business with all the outstanding pre-orders that distributors owe collectors and so forth? That's why they don't cancel, because then you're going to go to your distributor and say, hey, reseller, hey, they canceled now. Pony up the money. And you know what your distributor's going to say? Go fly a kite in a thunderstorm. That's what he's going to say. Depending on the distributor, some are actually good and will take care of you. This is crazy. And when I preached that interview was a bullshit, I was told that I was jealous and that it was fucking, they were trying to improve. And good. You're all idiots, whoever said it. This company needs to close. If there was a lower grade than an F, I would give it to them. Best company, they were top 3 companies, if not top company. War Tank, Hulkbusters, Samurai line, it just goes to show you could be at the top one day and you can fall even faster. This company can come out tomorrow and release every single piece tomorrow. I would have no faith in the company. Look at this list. Still. You guys are crazy. And I would be knocking on distributors' door and resellers' door to get the flame started, because it's past the point of having any patience. It's past the point. And that's it. And if distributors are going to tell you, hey, we're not giving your money back, this and that, because of this, and there's no security, perfect. They're done. You don't buy from them anymore. That's it. Because look at the trend that this is going into. You got Supercraft, the same shit. Tweeterhead, XM, We're just gonna give distributors and resellers money and then be out. Oh boy.
No, I wouldn't do that. That's for sure.
Yeah. XM, you can make a Batman of gold tomorrow. I don't want to see XM in front of me. That was my rant for XM.
Well, you're good. You're fine. Remember, you could be on top one day and gone the next.
That's it.
I'll be saying that later.
Yep.
All right. I assume you're giving an F because that's the
F
lowest
as
you
well,
can
sorry.
go.
Yeah.
That's the lowest you can go on this.
I thought that list was pretty gone. That's still, you know, his statues are still there. Holy man!
Well, you got to think every anything other, like, you have Marvel, less than a handful of Ultraman, and like one original, and the one Superman Dio. Like,
they didn't even finish Marvel yet, right? Completely.
They have not finished Marvel.
Right. So they gave us last year. You know,
Venomized Hulk, Iron Man's, the symbiote Spider-Man.
You did the interview. Fine, we forgive you. We'll give some passion into the heart, but stick to your words. They tell us they're going to give all your Marvel pieces by the end of 2025, and then they don't even mention it. They don't even talk about it. They're done. They're gone.
Well, I will say I attempted to post on their page. Of course, they didn't approve anything I posted. I commented on yeah, okay, fine. I was a little bit of a brat, but hey, when you don't communicate, what do you expect? I was commenting the same thing on all posts made about new updates to some piece, shipping update, production update. Like, what about the rest of this shit? Of course, nothing ever got commented on. There were no reactions to it. So yeah, you're actively ignoring people. You're not coming out and being proactive. I mean, at this point, you can't be proactive. The time for proactive was 2 years ago. But you're not even reacting at this point. Yeah, you're.
I'm almost thinking we need a hookers and blow post again, so we can see if there's a pulse.
That's the only thing that gets them going.
That's
the only thing.
Anyway. Iron, okay.
Let's go to a completely different end of the spectrum.
We're pivoting, yep.
This is a company that I'm feeling extra positive about. Okay, here's some of their pre-orders. You can see that Iron Studios is just a cesspool of very, very various IPs. This is literally the definition of something for everyone.
For sure.
Okay. Some of what they put out this year: quarter scale, 10th scale, anime, horror, original art. Well, original art of the Snow White thing. Things positively received. Things people wish were in larger scales. I think the biggest thing that this company had against them was last year they hit delays like a mother. Last year, I think they put up over 140. No, that's a lie. I don't remember how many pre-orders they put up last year, but they put up quite a few. I want to say it was over 140, but that might be extra high. But they definitely did not even release 100 statues last year. And we're halfway through this year, and they have already beaten how many statues they released all of last year.
Something went on last year too. I think the tariff thing was like when we spoke to Pure Arts and stuff. I think tariffs were a big thing that were being mentioned and stuff. So I think something was going on as well. But yeah, that's a massive improvement.
Yeah, huge improvement. Now, will that pace continue? No, I don't think they'll release almost 200 statues by the end of the year. I think that would be silly to expect. I don't think they have that many. They don't have that many open pre-orders. Their backlog isn't as that big.
Yeah.
But this is a great way to remedy a lot of last year's issues. Like I noted during the pricing, Iron Studios pricing, while it has gone up, it's not as though everything is uber expensive and well beyond what they used to be priced. Most of their pieces are still under $250.
The quality is improving, the price isn't increasing.
That's not something you can say about a lot of companies.
Yep.
Now, will that eventually come with a higher price tag? It's more likely than not. But still, to have 60% of your pre-orders still be under 250, I still think they're hitting that our new norm of affordable market. Yeah, it's not under 200 like they used to be. It's not 150 like it used to be, but still under $250.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering is Iron Studios, let's say 21, 22 ESs, right? Everything was just limited. It was open ES. Nothing was really set. And every year they have increased the amount of pieces they are assigning a specific edition size. In 2023, I know of 5 pieces that got specific edition sizes. In 2024, I know 10 pieces got a set edition size. Last year, 13 pieces got a set edition size. And that's only based on what I know. We're also aware that they don't always announce them.
Yeah.
People will get quarter scale pieces and it would have a number underneath that no one knew. Right? This year, it's not pacing to be very much. Only 2 pieces thus far have a set edition size. But I wonder if moving forward, this is a company that could lean a little bit more into establishing edition sizes.
I think because they have such a vast catalog that they can choose select lines to put edition sizes on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's fair.
I think their quarter scales, without saying, should have an edition size automatically.
Right, because they seem to end up having one.
Yeah.
So, why not start with one and make the S a part of the marketing?
Mm-hmm.
Especially since their quarter scale stuff, specifically their X-Men line has been very well received.
Well received, yeah. Yep.
Gambit's thighs are way too damn big, but other than that, it's been well received. I just feel like this company they were flowing well. They were consistent. Last year, really hit some speed bumps. But still, even with the speed bumps, we're doing well. And now I see them continuing that consistency, but improving the areas where they were struggling the most, which was getting pieces out.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, I was high on Iron Studios. End of last year, I found myself falling lower. This year, I think I'm feeling more positive about them again. Where are you at?
And then I'm the same way. Not necessarily that. Again, this is a situation like Pure Arts where I buy the product. AO was mentioning they have nice sculpts, but they're too small. But that's okay. Like even I've caught myself looking at say the Jurassic Park line and saying, hey, I can buy 2, 3, 4 of these pieces, and make a little dial and it'll work. Not everything has to be third, quarter, massive pieces in the collection. I think they have their niche. And they're capitalizing on it. No one's touching Iron Studios, in my opinion. And I think one of my favorite things that they do, especially being a host of the YouTube channel, is the consistent Iron Studio days on Friday. We cover them once a month. We cover them. We talk about them. And some of the releases are badass. That's the kind of stuff I want to see. Not a company that really over communicates or communicates really at all with the community outside of the Iron Studio days, but it doesn't seem like they really have to be honest. The pieces come out, people order them. There's consistency. I'm seeing consistency there with the reactions and how well received the pieces are when collectors receive them.
Yeah, I think that 2 points that I'll make. One is that if I do think an area of improvement would be communicating with collectors about the delays. I see a lot of people complaining and citing, hey, where's this piece? Where's that piece?
Yeah, see, I don't see that at all.
I do see that. And so I think that there is an area, there's some room for growth there. Mm-hmm. On the other end, the one thing I really appreciate about their Inside Day is it doesn't just cover release of new pre-orders. Mm-hmm. It also covers what is about to release. What is in the final stages of production or are about to ship or are already shipping. And they do it for each of their regions. They do it for the US region. They do it for their Brazil region. They do it for the European region because everyone's on a little bit of a different timeline based on when they're going to receive those shipments. So I like that they not only cover the pre-orders, they cover the releases, and they make that information specific to regions so that you're at least getting a much more up-to-date, accurate piece of information than just, hey, this piece is coming out.
Correct.
And I really appreciate that. They're kind of covering many bases with one live stream.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big fan of that. We were pretty positive about this company.
I'm going to keep it an A.
I'm going to keep it at an A-, but I almost moved it up. I expect that I will move it up at the end of the year. But I want to see that this first half isn't just a real extra positive blip. I want to see it kind of continue in some way. And I don't want to keep seeing people complaining about not knowing what's going on with their delays and where all these delays and where all these pieces. You are improving that, though. So good job, Iron Studios. Good job. To put out 98 pieces to 63 pre-orders is fantastic. Mm-hmm. And we will not see that again for the rest of this presentation. Oh, boy.
Who's next? Oh, boy.
All right. They put up a pre-order. It looks pretty cool. I'll give them that. But they did put up a pre-order. They released a few things. They said a lot of other things were supposed to be coming. I ain't seen any third scale busts end up in hands. I ain't seen all kinds of things. So
no refunds.
That was my first question. So we know where Tweeterhead stands, right? Tweeterhead ended up in a lot of trouble with shipment and production difficulties. They've built their own backlog. They kind of just essentially shut down for a little bit, and then they came back. Or they didn't come back, but the head of their company came out and made statements. And either you're going to get production updates. Here's where your statues are. We're getting back in bed with Sideshow. We're letting Sideshow cover the business side, and we'll just do the art direction. So that's going to be improvement for the future. But in terms of what is standing now, we're going to try and give you more consistent updates, let you know where the pieces are. And should you want a refund, we will give you a refund. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know that anyone's gotten a refund. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody give an update on whether they actually received any refunds. Mm-hmm. The customer service was shit. And then it was supposed to be changed and improved. It didn't sound, the last time I heard anything, it didn't really sound like it improved.
And then you hear the spouse is helping with those. I don't give a fuck if you're on the corner begging on the highway for the money. Get the shit out. I don't give a fuck who's helping. Like, that's not the stuff I want to hear, that who's helping and who's not helping. I want to hear what's going on with the company. They were smart. They had a nice little blitz of pieces hit collectors' hands, and I think it soothed some of the collectors because the pieces were nice. But this is an XM shit all over again. Not as bad as XM, but they're walking the same line.
Yeah, not as bad, but when your comparison is XM, it's not good.
Yeah.
Buddy, I don't know. You put out these emails, these newsletters, right? And it's like, hey, here's things coming, and then they don't happen. So you're continuing to lie. You're continuing to give false information.
Your number 4 point there is the smartest thing that they did. At least there's some brain cells left. I think that was to pull that back and retract and go work specifically just with Sideshow to allow them to distribute and the customer service. Hey, I applaud them for trying. Okay, give them an A for effort. They wanted to try. It didn't work out. They realized it. They're going back to Sideshow. Fine. That's the only thing. That's like a pilot light. Sideshow's the pilot light keeping this company alive. Is the reassurance that, okay, Sideshow is backing them up, right? That new pre-order. I know people who pre-ordered it. Again, that reassurance that Sideshow's there, and I'll get my money back if something happens. That was the smartest move. At least they weren't unconscious. Anyways.
Yeah, but that Sideshow move allows for the opportunity for light at the end of the tunnel. Exactly. The problem is we're still at the start of the tunnel, We got to still get through the damn tunnel. And you got to stop acting like you're going to speak or touch upon our humanity. Collectors are ravenous beasts. They want their shit. We don't want to hear your excuses. We don't want to hear about why and whiches and hows. We want to
I don't
know.
want to fucking hear what you ate last night. I don't want to hear it. What the person on the bus stop.
We're not at right.
I don't give a fuck if you touched your 401k or their neighbor's 401k. I don't care. Just get the stuff out. Do the business. Aiko says D for Tweeterhead, and they only got this instead of an F because they released a few pieces and they partner with Sideshow. I can't do that. I'm going to give them the F because XM released a few pieces. And that meant nothing to me. So it's going to be the same thing with Tweeterhead. I'm keeping it at an F. If I could go lower, it would be lower.
I agree. I think I'm going to keep it as an F. I don't think I'm going to solidly without much thought. The thing is at the end of last year when they received the F, they already talked about.
They were in a better position than what they
were
today.
They were in a better position. More, some of their pieces, some of their production pieces has gotten to Sideshow to distribute. The Gillman was able to get out at the end of last year. Things like that. And now we're 6 months in. And I feel like we're starting to go backwards again. Lots of empty promises, lots of dates not being fulfilled, not being met. I don't know. We're just going to keep going through this very uncomfortable dance with this company.
How do you tell your customer? Yeah, email me twice. Oh, no, you got the wrong email. Email this email, and we'll process your return, and then never process the return. My God. I want to buy a Tweeterhead piece just to throw a baseball bat to it, just to prove a point. Like, that is crazy.
Yeah, Tweeterhead here. No, sorry, bud. If you didn't partner with Sideshow, and that's not your full saving grace, but if you didn't partner with Sideshow, you're another one who, in 3 years, you won't be on this list.
Yeah,
you won't be on this list. Yeah, we'll have a in memoriam section to reflect on those who have, the dearly departed companies. And
when I heard that they touched their 401k, I what I pictured? An episode of Shark Tank where they come in, and then the sharks are like, "How much did you spend on this?" "Oh, we touched our 401k," and then they're like, in their faces are like, "What an idiot! Fucking bury the company."
Yeah, Mark Cuban wouldn't even help you. Sorry.
I'm nervous for this one. What's this?
Well, it's red. Do you have any red companies left? Yes, we do.
PCS. Oh, mama. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Here are some pre-orders. In case you forgot, Jennifer's Body came out this year.
Goddamn.
Just wanted to make sure everyone remembered that.
Thank God it's her body and not mine.
Third scales, half scales, busts, movie pieces, comic pieces. Okay. Some of what's released this year. I wish the guy who got the shipment of the Unicron piece actually shared pictures of the Unicron piece, but maybe that's a sign of what the Unicron piece was like. Jesus. Right? Because the guy posted pictures of the boxes outside his door. The Unicron packages. That's all I ever saw of it.
Maybe a breakage or something.
Yeah, sure. A breakage of his heart.
Wow.
All right. So this is where we're at. Pre-orders and release ratio, looking good. It's looking good.
Big improvement.
And this is actually building on last year's great improvement on pre-orders and releases. I feel like a lot of collectors ignored the fact that PCS did great last year. PCS was 39 pre-orders last year, 35 pieces delivered. Yeah. And now we're looking at something very similar in that respect. Problem is, the pieces that haven't been released, very late, very much no information on when those pieces are coming out. Communication on those delays is absolute shit.
I went back into the PCS group. I didn't go back in. I'm in it, but I went and I reposted. I don't know if people remember this, but let's give a little bit of a history lesson here. PCS has sucked very much at giving updates on shipping. They are not good at communicating when pieces are delayed. They're not good at communicating how long those delays are going to be. They're not good at communicating what those delays are about. Okay. Towards the end of last year, I made a post drawing attention to a bunch of pieces that had no updates regarding shipping. And it took not a back and forth, but there was a back and forth between Ant and myself. And he was able to release a list, a table with statues and when they are expected to ship. Okay. Now, that list turned out to mostly be a fucking dud. Most of those things are late and still nowhere to be found. They're in the ether of statue imagination land. So I have gone back earlier this year, months ago, and reposted that list and requested an update. Hey, a lot of these things, it's probably about that time. Ant responded to that post. Hey, I'll get the team working on this. I want to say at least 2 months have passed. Many pre-orders have passed. Many teases have passed. And still ongoing questions from their community about, hey, what's the update on this piece? What's the update on that piece? I think it's very concerning that talking about and communicating updates and delays and timelines does not appear to be a priority and has not been a priority for a long time. But pre-orders remain a priority. Teases remain a priority. And not only do they remain a priority, but I see plenty of engagement from the company and those who either work for or adjacently are involved with the company commenting on those things. But when it comes to, hey, where's this piece? What's going on? Mostly crickets. That's a big problem for me. And it seems to only be getting worse. That's my spiel on PCS.
I almost want to give them an A just for the fact they got rid of the guy who was running their social media.
Oh, God, John.
That alone, they've improved, I'll be honest. PCS, I don't know all the backlog. I'm not in the group. And I haven't been keeping track of the backlog. I know they got a backlog. Fuck. Now, the one thing I do want to comment with PCS is the improvement. I think they've come a long way from where they were when it comes to final production in pieces. Ghost Rider being one of them. I think price points are astronomical.
Yep.
Too high. But when it comes to production, find a lot. And again, it's only, for me, I've only noticed it on the Ghost Rider. So it's been one piece. But I think it's given collectors more confidence when it comes to seeing the Doom, their newly released Predator. There's at least a little weight off the shoulders saying, hey, maybe this Doom is going to look good. Because the Ghost Rider did look really good.
Mm-hmm.
Is it enough yet to put that kind of money down? I don't think so.
No.
Not at all, in my opinion. But at least that's one positive note. Other than that, I think PCS is another one. Chicken without a head. Cancel this IP, cancel that. I don't know if I'm going here, there, half scale, third scale, quarter scale. I don't know what's going on with them. There's teases that we still haven't seen.
Don't say Toy Story.
I was gonna say Toy Story. Okay. I don't know. Underworld. What happened with Underworld? I didn't like that move. Did that happen this year? This quarter?
The cancellation of William?
Yeah, I can't remember now.
I thought that was last year, but I could be.
Improvement with Fine Art Bus. I don't know. I just feel like they got a bit of a backlog. Quality's rising, but things like the move you mentioned there, the TMNT. You reminded me, like, they haven't finished their third scale TMNT. They're showing quarter scales already. Like, it's too much here, there, and the other.
Oh, I have Underworld line canceled right there.
Yeah, I saw that. That's why.
So that would be from this half of the
year, right? So
this year.
I thought that was the dirtiest thing I saw, and it's gonna be one of the dirtiest things I've seen happen in the statue community is that Underworld canceling, because it was promote the shit out of it, and then sneak in there. Yeah, we're gonna get Celine. Promote the shit out of the first one, which was what, Marcus. People bought the Marcus, and they canceled the William, and then to really bend you over, they said, you know what, fuck it, we're not even gonna go after the Celine likeness anymore because she's hard to get a hold of, and everybody got stuck holding their thing with the Marcus. I thought that was wild, but hey, yeah, they've been kind of again, the communications died there too. They've kind of been under the radar. They're not as the posts haven't been as exciting, and the communication hasn't been as receptive as I've seen in previous years with them.
Yeah, I think to lend to your chicken with its head cut off analogy, I still see the same unstructured, unclear pre-orders and what's going to be included and what isn't. Have all of your ducks in a row, and then you put up a pre-order. If you put up a pre-order and then you're still like, oh yeah, this might be a part of it, or that might be a part of it.
You just reminded me.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, like the bus stands for the Predators apparently happening. And then what I didn't like is 3 days before the Predators going up for order, he's like, oh, we're still negotiating with the fucking factory. And then 3 days later, the motherfucker comes out at 4,100. So you clearly didn't negotiate very well if we're getting that price point. No, man, come on. We know what do we... If you're negotiating with a factory 3 days before the release, that's wild to me.
Right.
That's wild.
We still have, he hasn't really, he announced, he commented on someone's comment. He commented on someone's comment on a post that the Gargoyles line was going to be switched over to 5th scale. Mm-hmm. And those were going to be released separately instead of in the two characters together. Where's the movement on that? Because you had people who ordered the quarter scales. The whatever's going on with the pumpkin head piece.
That was on hold from December, yeah.
Yeah, the 3rd scale, right?
Yeah.
3rd scale? Yeah, it's 3rd scale. Like, where's the announcement? Like, what's going on with that? Like, there's, I don't know. It just feels very discombobulated. And that makes me question what the leadership looks like. I worked for a variety of different companies in a couple of different fields. And when I see things like that, it makes me wonder, where's the leadership? Where's the structure? Where's the order? Things feel just as all over the place as their art direction and their scales and their IPs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
the IPs for sure, yeah.
I just don't. I still like a lot of what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I like the fine art bust. I actually really like them. I don't like all of them.
The last 3 I think were good. Yeah.
I like the concept. And to me, I feel like they're simplifying them a little bit.
Yeah.
They're not making them as crowded. Maybe some to their detriment could use a little bit more, but I like that. I like that. Of course, PCS is one of the only companies that has a consistent engagement with horror. So I really like them for that side, but my goodness, you got to deliver some pieces, and you're delivering pieces, but you got to deliver the ones that are really, really late. You got to let people know when they're coming and when they're going to show up. We're still waiting on the Michael Jordan piece, the bust. We're still waiting on the Darth Maul hyperreal, but you're putting out more hyperreals since then. Everyone has already complained enough, but 3rd scale Michelangelo, which he gave some update about. It's supposed to end of summer, maybe. I don't know. But it's just like nothing feels, when you're getting information, it does not feel like something that you can actually take to the bank.
Yeah.
So, there are some positive things going on, but I feel like the same negative things that have been harped on are still happening, and I'm not seeing the growth. I'm seeing the growth in perhaps some of the production stuff. I'm seeing the growth in what they're doing with some of their pieces creatively, but I'm not seeing any of the growth with the communication, managing your production lines,
Giving collectors confidence in pre-ordering.
Yes.
Oh. Shit. Okay. I would bring them down to a C minus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The only reason I'll keep them at a C, is because that improvement in the production of the Ghost Rider, let's say. Let's just use the Ghost Rider as an example. I'm going to give them credit for that because that's a piece that I talked about personally a lot on whether that was going to make or break them. And I think that piece is keeping their head above water.
Fair.
So I'll keep them at a C.
I'm going to drop them to a C.
Yeah.
I think that one. Well, I think it comes back to the same kind of communication issues that I've had with this company for over a year now, and the fact that there are things within your own group that makes it very clear that those are issues. It's not as though no one is saying anything about that, and you have no idea, and you can cite any form of ignorance. It's right there in your face, and still not really experiencing any movement. So sorry, I can't in good faith keep you somewhere. Okay, fun times. No, second to last. So we're on the last two, the biggies, the popular ones, the big names, the banners in the sky.
Wait to January, right? Prime one. Oh, mama. Who's the last one then? Oh, okay.
The oldest in the game.
Oh, of course. Yeah. How can you forget?
Okay. All right. Yeah, you forgot. I don't know how. You tell me.
I'm like dead here.
Yeah. All right. Prime one. Lots of pre-orders.
Pre-orders.
All over the place.
Those tits on that Godzilla.
Those are some. Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, they are. There's a lot of fat. A lot of fat there.
Okay.
Here's some of the things that have come out this year.
Oh, that's Sauron. Okay.
Yeah, you like that a lot. Okay. Let's talk about Prime One Studio.
Oh boy.
Prime One Studio's top scale is quarter, and it has been quarter for years. I just want everyone to know that. Prime One Studios is not a third scale company. They stopped that in 2023. Quarter scale has almost doubled their third scale offerings for years now. And this year it has almost tripled their third scale offerings. They've put out 27 quarter scale pieces for pre-order, and they only have 10 third scale. So big quarter scale company here. Yeah, they are not releasing enough, not even close.
No.
They are flooding the market with pre-orders. They're flooding their own market with pre-orders. And it's not going very well for them. Over two pre-orders per release. And right now, they are pacing to take almost 4 years to release the things that they already have. Now, some of those things might be on time. Some of those things might be early. But most of those things will be late.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of things have come up for this company this year. Okay. We had are they paying their factory or not? Right. That came up. We have the requests for filming unboxings. We had the customer harassment policy. We had the VIP program. We had a whole controversy about the big chap. Like that's a lot of press that you
don't. 151 pieces late, like backlogged.
As of June 30th, yes, technically now it is 149, I believe.
Wow, that is crazy. That's wild.
Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised, but fuck, I'm just thinking to myself, how do you catch up from that?
You don't.
Yeah.
I am concerned.
Yeah.
Oh, not a wise man, but I would say a Canadian once said, you can be on top one day.
Oh, 100%.
and gone the next.
And
I'm not saying
a very fucking wise man, by the way.
we all have opinions.
Let me say one thing quick before you
yeah.
do. The 151 or 149, does that include like if a release has an ultimate, a bonus, and all that, or is that one SKU?
That would be one SKU.
So it would be like.
So it would include.
It would
right.
include. It includes the ultimate, like the 3 versions of the one statue.
Correct.
Okay, that we got to mention.
Yeah. All of these are like that. I don't. No. I'm sorry. So one backlog equals all versions of the statue.
Okay.
So one backlog is the Kratos Elite Master line, its ultimate version, and its ultimate bonus. That counts as one.
Oh, so you're not counting that as 3. You're counting that as
no,
one.
that's one.
Oh, wow. That's fucking bad.
They are all included
That's really bad.
in the singular thing.
All right.
Prime 1. So let me say this. Let me give a little bit more context to this. And these are this is something I've been going off for a while. And I know a lot of people probably want to push it aside as just being another Prime 1 hater, but there's numbers to back this up.
Mm-hmm.
Prime 1 so far has only fulfilled 75% of their 2024 pre-orders. Okay. They still have 14 statues left to fill from that year. When you go to 2025, they have 84% of pre-orders left. That is 85 statues still to be released from that. And then you add on the bustle of pre-orders that they've put up this year. It's 50 on this date, but within the week they added 2 more. So that's 52 that still need to be filled. 2 of them have been filled because I think it went under the radar that they pushed out some quick color variants for their quarter scale Dante and Nero. I don't know if people caught on to that. That happened in April. They pushed those out immediately available for delivery. That was a quick buck for them. So, like what? So here's the thing. Those types of habits result in company death. You can't keep having all of these pre-orders backed up because it impacts the factory's ability to get through things. I think that a lot of the same way that we extrapolate that sales are low and demand is low when ESs are low. Excuse me. I think we also extrapolate that when a company is pushing and pushing and pushing pre-order after pre-order after pre-order, Prime 1 Studios has had weeks where there were 4 pre-orders within a 7-day period. I think that mostly happened last year. I don't know if it's happened this year as much, but definitely a lot of 3 pre-order weeks. I think we can extrapolate that they are looking for increased cash flow. Okay.
Yeah. They've had a bad first half, if you ask me, a very bad first half. Like you said, that VIP program was a mess. Price increases, price decreases. The one thing that's keeping them their head above water is the showcase. Mm-hmm. Okay, and when you get the product, it meets the expectation of the collector.
Yes.
The other credit I'll give is it seems to be that the communication has become a lot better with Prime 1, a little bit more respectful, especially through their Facebook group. With there's concerns about collectors being disrespected, so forth. The tone has changed. You get my drift? What I'm trying to. I feel like the tone has changed.
Yep.
Those are the 3 pluses I'd give. But man, with a backlog of 151 backlog, that is wild.
Now I do want to point out real quick. On the news, it's 151. On the notable stats, it's listed at 150. It's because I update these things at different times and I don't do it all at one time. So at one point it was 150. And then when I did the stats, it was at 150. The first time I wrote it was at 151 because something else had come out. I just don't want anyone saying, look, he doesn't even have the same number, so he can't be right.
No one's going to say that here.
Oh, someone will say it somewhere.
Yeah, that's worrisome. Do I think Prime 1's going to go anywhere? I don't know, but
I don't, but also
you got to keep your eyes on it. That's for sure.
Right. I think that the one thing that makes me feel like Prime One Studios may be able to continue, even though they have habits that are very indicative of other companies that have died, essentially, is that somehow their business model, they have been able to stay afloat with all these delays for years. The difference now is they are returning to those COVID high pre-order numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do they have some magic thing going on behind the scenes that we just don't know and can't fathom, that they aren't going to be able to survive even when things are running like shit? Not the quality, not the production quality. That's not running like shit, right? Business. If you need this much cash flow and people pieces are being delayed, at some point you're not going to have as much cash flow. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. At some point, it won't matter that that some of your customers are okay that pieces are late. They're okay because it allows them more time to pay and things like. That's not what this is about.
No, that's the thing. I'm one of those guys. I don't mind the being late a year so I could pay, but when you start bringing the numbers into it and start seeing a backlog of 151 statues, it's like, what's the incentive to pre-order? The incentive to pre-order isn't there.
No.
You could throw your NRD if you want to support the company and keep their heads above water as well. But I was the collector that's like, take your time. 2000, because let's be real, right? If Prime One turned around tomorrow and released everything and then started a Sideshow collectibles release schedule with the total price range that it's ranging from 12 to 1800, nobody would be able to keep up with that. You get a handful, you get some people to keep up, and you wouldn't be able to collect the way you're collecting now and pace yourself that way. You'd have payment plans through your head, and I think it'd lead to a lot of collecting irresponsibly. Does that make it right for Prime One to take 4 years to release a statue? No, of course not. A backlog of that amount, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Backlog that big, and your prices are really increasing. Those are, to me, I view that as signs of desperation. It tells me that it's more likely than not that they don't have stable financials, but I don't know. They're still around. Maybe hopefully they'll stay around, because a lot of the pieces that are going up for pre-order now, you're not going to see for a long time. I hope they'll be around to deliver them, but I don't know. It's the numbers aren't adding up.
The one thing I do want to say on a positive note, that they were somewhat listening. Again, I think it comes down to collectors flapping gum and this and that, but we saw them test out that VIP process. That got a lot of backlash.
Yep.
A lot of collectors saying, "Wow, I wish this wasn't VIP. I would, buy it. I'd purchase this even at that price point." And then we see them pivot, which I believe was going to originally be another VIP transaction, but with that alien set. And then people started complaining about the price. They kept it. Not only did they keep it open, but they threw the edition size right away as well. 40. They didn't put it behind a VIP paywall. So I do appreciate Prime One listening and bringing a little bit more of that exclusivity into the hobby. But at that price point, you gotta, it's a fine line.
Sure.
With that price point, I'm sure that'll target a certain audience who will support it, but
right. But I still feel like there's a bit of a bait and switch there with releasing a regular version too.
That's weird.
Right? Yep. It's not like there's only going to be 40 of that piece. There's only going to be 40 of the exclusive egg piece.
The egg, yeah. Okay.
Like, the fuck?
No.
Hey, we're going to get you to pre-order real quick. There's only going to be 40. It's the 40th anniversary or whatever the hell the numbers added up to. But like, man, I don't know. I don't know. It's fishy. It's fishy and it's concerning. And at some point, I think that, so here's the thing. They will not be saved by I think at some point their production quality won't save them. At some point, the numbers will outweigh that. Public sentiment can kill you, but public sentiment cannot save you if you don't have enough money.
But I think I think it'll come down to what the other companies are doing in the hobby. As of right now, I don't think any. As of right now, what I think Prime One is the best at what they do. Now you get another company rolling in, delivering that kind of quality, that kind of IP, that kind of style statue, then you're gonna have a problem. Right now, I don't think they have that. Personally,
They don't.
I think that's
Yeah.
why they're confident. That's why they could get away with what they're getting away with. Right?
Everything.
You know, XM was a different story. Quarter, you had competition. Sideshow bumped up their game. You had, I think there was a lot. Well, yeah, you had a lot of
Yeah.
competition come out and poor spending, and with XM it was poor art direction. That's Prime One's not oblivious. Prime One's not protected from that either. You have a line of statues that has poor art direction. You could be in that same spot.
Sure.
Could be.
And the majority of Prime One collectors enjoy their art direction.
So it's just as close to the line you want to ride. How much space you want to give if there's a mistake, if there's competition, if there's whatever.
Yeah.
But man, the numbers worry. If you can sing and praise you love Prime One. I love Prime One. If Prime One went under, I'll tell you right now, I don't know. I'd be collecting the backlog. That's all I'd be collecting but I'll tell you, you could be a biggest Prime One fanatic. You can work inside Prime One. When you see the backlog of 151 statues, nobody and their grandmother can make an excuse for that.
Nope.
C plus.
I'm actually just going to leave it because my grade is based off of the same shit happening now.
Well, no, I think they've had a, well, yeah, the backlog, yeah, but I think they've had a rough quarter. I think they have a rough couple quarters with
The VIP, the
VIP,
customer harassment, the
the factory issue. It's just been poor publicity.
yeah, that's
And not
just-
only that, but I
too
think,
much.
and a lack of transparency when it comes to providing collectors information with the delays. It's just a generic email, you know.
Oh yeah, it's one I
email,
don't believe.
Right.
It's
So,
one I don't believe. I think it's, hey, we have to build up more collateral before we can pay this factory to release it. That's honestly what I believe for a lot of these.
Trust me, it hurts my heart to give Prime One, my favorite company, a C plus, but it's all that's fair. You gotta. They had a very poor quarter. Showcase are great. Continue the showcase. They pivoted from the showcase. The way they conduct in the showcase a little bit different. It pains my heart, but C plus business wise, the way the business is operating, that's where I gotta be.
Yeah, you're right. That's too much shit. I'm gonna go to the C. Because state of pre-orders, too much. State of releases,
Yeah,
for
it's
me,
just a problem.
state of release
Yeah.
is not enough. Quality control, great. Never a problem, really. Art direction, I don't love everything they do, but that's more of a subjective measure. Customer service, I think we have differing opinions on how well their customer service does. Public relations has been for shit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I said
C.
C plus, right? C plus. Okay.
yeah, you said C plus. Okay.
Prime One, please do better. God damn.
Yes, please. Okay.
What if Prime One and XM merge?
Hmm?
Prime One and XM merge.
Ooh. I'm down.
Prime One.
I'm down.
Prime One
I'm
gets
down
all
if
the Marvel.
XM. I'm down if XM could bring back their old creative director.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't want Prime One's creative people on Marvel.
It needs to be a fresh slate. Get rid of it. I don't want to see those fucking twins, brothers, whatever the fuck they are, anywhere near XM.
Oh, them? No. I can't remember who they had for their original creative director, but I want that. I don't want to see none of these fucking sub bases, none of that shit. But I want that quality. I'd love some of that quality
Here's
for
the
sure.
Big Kahuna.
But the problem is that XM ran their business into the ground and Prime One's walking a fine line. So maybe that's not a good merger.
Prime One's walking the same fucking ice thing, whatever. Anyways, okay.
Yeah.
Sideshow.
Sideshow Collectibles. Here's some 2026 pre-orders.
2,
Lots,
3.
lots of quarter scale.
Well, that's a quarter.
That's a quarter. Some of the releases thus far this year.
Mm-hmm.
1-to-1, that perfect 1 ratio. 20 pre-orders, 20 releases. Healthy.
ES
right?
down.
Yeses are down. Yep. I think the thing with Sideshow, the big news was given, but it hasn't happened yet to me. And it's them returning to San Diego.
Yeah, this month.
Like being out in public, that's going to be
Probably
a big
the
deal.
best news that they could have given.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think so. I do think that's, to me, that's a sign though, need to draw in those new customers again.
Yeah, what happened to the cons not being worth it? Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think that, what we've seen with prices, with ESs dropping, companies not putting out as much, not Prime One, of course, companies not putting out as much and prices increasing. I think it's clear that the market of collectors has shrunk from the big influx that happened a few years ago. It shrunk back down. So now you have to either be able to attract new customers, or two, be able to stand out amongst the collectors you have available. I honestly don't think Sideshow is doing very well on the second one.
Yeah. Like the amount of people at that con that don't even know about these statues, it goes without saying that it's smart to be there. Like even when I went for my signing this past weekend, when I pulled out that Hellboy bust, oh my, did you make that? Did you this? I got guys taking notes of the name of the company to look into it. So you tap a different market for sure.
Yeah.
One of the cons. I think it's smart. You don't need to take the whole team and get hotels, and take a few people, a handful of people, some good statues, set it up, and that's it. I think the problem is the expense was too much. Hotels, I'm sure, parties and this and that. No, just take a couple of people, cram them all into one room, and you're set.
Sure. Their pricing is in a better place this year. It'll be interesting to see what some. I know we know Doc Ock is likely to come, but I'm sure there'll be some other popular characters that could likely be revealed. I'll be interested to see whether that continues. But a lot more in that back to that $500 to $800 range. Pretty much doubled from last year.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing a lot more in that $800 to $1,200. So I think that's really healthy for them to be able to do. But I do think too that a lot of their art direction is equating to lower prices. Now, this is a very subjective category, of course, but I don't think it's out there to say, Punchline and Kingpin didn't get the best community response.
Mm-hmm.
And I bring those up as the largest examples. I would say that, of course, for me personally, I'm still individually insulted and heartbroken by the Krampus release. I know that they announced, right, that they were going to explore doing a smaller version, but to do it as small as they did, I think I'm still very interested to see what that edition size ends up being. Excuse me. I think that the Aquaman, Lord of the Deep, that was a really out there. I don't even know what to say about that, but to have 100 ES is wild.
Yeah.
The Metaluna Mutant didn't do too well, but that's like super, super niche. So it may just be that that's not as big of a market. The point is that I don't know that outside of, as I noted here, the DC Rogues line and the Pulp Vixens lines, I just don't feel like they're really putting a lot out that is wowing the community artistically. They're still putting out a character here or there that I think collectors will bypass any artistic deficits because they want that character. a la Jubilee. But I don't know. I feel like Sideshow isn't really. I just don't find Sideshow to be very impressive this year thus far with the art, with the pieces that they're releasing.
I think the biggest success was the Venomized Hulk, and then the newly just up for pre-order the regular Hulk. I think those are the showstoppers for the year so far.
Yeah, I would agree.
Maybe playing it a little safe.
I think that's probably a more positive way to frame it. Yeah. I do think they're playing it very safe. They're not taking really any risks with pushing beyond additional detail, pushing beyond texture, pushing beyond modernizations. Sideshow killed the swap out game a while ago. It's rare to get any of those anymore.
I think the Kingpin was the biggest upset this year so far. Personally,
I think it would be. I think that is a character that has been at least highly-ish anticipated. I don't know that the Storm wasn't well received. The portrait, a lot of people didn't like. I mean, that came out with the 450 ES. I think that the Creature from the Black Lagoon was probably another piece that got some positive reception. But again, for a $700 ES piece, might have gotten some good sales. You just don't see a lot of people talking consistently about pieces that Sideshow is doing in a positive light. Yeah. No one's really building it up in the community. I don't see collectors really talking it up.
Yeah.
I think.
No, go ahead.
I just think Sideshow's art direction is getting lost in the shuffle of other companies who are pushing boundaries. Yeah. Like Prime One. Prime One continues to push boundaries with how they are painting and sculpting and producing portraits. Craziness. The amount of detail they are starting to include in individual strands of hair. Like, I appreciate that there is a company continuing to move forward in some way. And I feel like Sideshow, playing it safe, taking a step back, whatever terminology you want to use. I don't know. I'm waiting for Sideshow to. Sideshow is the little engine. It's not a little engine, right? It's been around for a while, but it's the engine that could, and it just keeps coulding. And I really want to see it kind of give the community a punch in the face to really remind the community who Sideshow is. And I feel like instead of, don't forget who Sideshow is, they're just saying, hey, do you remember who we are?
Yeah, fair enough. To your point on number 4, I do appreciate the feedback, putting up the polls as to as to improvement. Like the last one I went into was X-Men. I'm like, fuck, don't need another X-Men character, but they put up a list of who would you like to see as our next X-Men piece.
Right.
And then I thought that stuff like that I like, where you're engaging with the community. I do think that their communication with the community has been good as well. You'll have Mestis in the chat sometimes. We'll be talking about something. He'll come out and on the chat and kind of give clarification or whatnot. Jorge's in there too, so I appreciate the representation within the community. Now they've definitely pivoted as a company from that. That's something that you wouldn't even think Sideshow would do back in the day. Some key releases this year so far: Man-Bat, Venom, the Venom, the Gwenom. That Venomized line is very popular. Not everything's been on the whole.
No. I feel like last year they were taking a bit more risks with new characters, never before made characters. And this year we're a little bit back to the same old. Here's a new version of this character we've already done. And then the ones that they hadn't done before, they weren't well received. It seemed to be very basic art direction, not very creative conceptually. I just feel like they're lacking anything that stands out. I did enjoy the requests that they were making from collectors. They asked all kinds of things. They were asking for what people would want to see from sports.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, they went all over the place. It was weeks of different IPs and groups of potential collectibles. It's really interesting to see them ask some questions for things that I've never seen them make before. I don't know. Have they ever? I don't know the last time they made a sports piece. So that's cool. Will that actually result in things that collectors want? Will that result in things with an art direction that collectors are looking for? That I'm not sure. That for yes, ESs across the board are dropping. Should Sideshow be concerned, considering last year they were able to push, over 10 pieces that had a 750 ES or more, and this year they have one.
Mhm.
I'd be concerned that just within their own realm, they're not seeing as much demand as they were.
Mhm.
What do they need to push that up?
The demand?
Yeah.
They need to get rid of the batch list. You start slapping sold out on pieces, and you're going to see how fast your demand's going to pop up. The way it used to be. All these companies are adopting this batch listed method. It works, but people know you could hop on I don't think the only thing I've ever gone on a wait list for that I've never had convert was the Sideshow ornament. Everything else is converted. Right? So my guess as to how they're operating is, for example, this Hulk.
Mhm.
They show you the Hulk. It's already in production. Within 6 months, it's ready to go because they're doing such a small batch. Then it wait lists. All the people hop on the wait list. They take the money. Boom. Once the next batch is ready, next wave goes. So they're creating these tiny batches, and I think that's how they're able to turn over these statues so quickly.
Sure. And I don't think that the way in which they're producing the batches is a bad
No,
business.
as long as production is on point, which it has been, I think it's fine. 100%.
Yeah, I will say to that point, one thing that I would note is last year, when I remember when we hit Sideshow, like there was a lot of pieces coming out with a lot of issues, right?
For sure.
Right? Like how many pieces came out and there was some form of, something that needed. Archangel was a big one, right? Archangel was supposed to be this big, wonderful piece, and it came out with a lot of problems, and then you couldn't necessarily get the Magneto came out. The Magneto had its own like production delay, and then it took people's money, and then it never got delivered, and then it came out. There were issues with the capes and things, and they didn't have enough replacements to give. The Succubus had a shit ton of broken wings.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Some people had some leaning issues right off the bat with the Succubus, I think. So I don't feel like we're getting as much of that this year.
Yeah.
And I think that's a positive.
Which is
for
good,
them.
for sure.
That's good. But still, you're kind of fading into the background here. And you're supposed to, essentially, you are considered like the leader of the industry in some ways.
More of a focus on distribution than statue creation.
I do. I think, I do think that there is. But the thing is that their pre-orders aren't necessarily dropping very much,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that the quantity is receiving less focus, but I do wonder if the quality is receiving less focus. The innovation is receiving less focus. Their innovation is using light ups. Yeah. We know how I personally feel about light ups. Putting that aside, you've been doing light ups for a long time. Like it's time to move on to the next innovation. Other companies are moving forward.
Like the Zatanna, the way she was leaning on the table, you couldn't see any structural support or anything. Like stuff like that was
right.
Kind of out of the
right.
box thinking.
When they did the Rogue, that way,
yeah.
Right, floating with one arm. When they did the Spider-Man years before that, balancing on one arm, they didn't continue with any of those in a consistent way. They just kind of have these one-off engineering feats.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the only thing I could think of recently that you would say, okay, this is the next engineering feat would be the Cyclops. The way that it's positioned in, and the beam essentially provides the stability, and it's a full light up. Like, I don't know. I know
again,
that.
I think with those pieces, I think it's like you said, the direction that Sideshow's going is the selling point is the light up. I think with a lot of some of these pieces, if they look best lit up, I think the Paint app suffers without the light up.
Yes,
I think that Cyclops is one of them personally.
I agree. You know, I don't know. I have said this. A lot of people have said this. I'm not the only person, but a lot of people have said, like, Sideshow, I feel, becomes complacent with their Marvel quarter scale license. They become complacent. Who's competing with them for quarter scale Marvel?
Nobody.
I'm waiting. Nobody. No one in the licensed world, right? There's no other company competing with them. So, shit. Where else are you going to get Jubilee? Where else are you going to get a Moon Knight? XM's gone, right? They did one. There's enough collectors to want, you know, a Moon Knight that didn't get XMs, right? So you create these characters, you just go on with it. I think you get complacent on the fact that you've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, it's one day you're on top.
Yeah.
One day you're on top. Now, I don't expect Sideshow financially to go anywhere. All the numbers look great. ES is not so much, but everything looks like they can continue. But shit, at some point, if you don't wow anybody, you may not keep buying. I don't know. I have high hopes for Sideshow. Last year, I felt like they were going in a really nice direction. A majority of their quarter scale pre-orders were new characters. And I thought that was breathing some fresh new characters with some decent art direction. Okay. That's the difference. You know, people like the Venom, these are pre-orders from last year. People like the Venom, people like the Venomized Hulk, the Darth Nihilus. People enjoyed Man-Bat, Moon Knight. Now, Moon Knight had some of its detractors, of course, for the paint. You had the John Constantine, which I don't think got enough love until it was released.
Yeah, Bill just got that awesome piece.
Yeah. The Cad Bane was you know what? I take it back. It wasn't the Cyclops. I think the Cad Bane is the best version of their light up and engineering. You know, being a little, with him floating on the smoke.
Yeah,
I think that was really cool. People really liked the Archangel. You know, I just think that
for the most part, Sideshow caters well to the community, and they always have been, and I hope they always will. They're still the affordable, best bang for your buck. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Customer service bulletproof. That remains to be solid.
Yes.
Even as a distributor, customer service is fantastic, and yeah, you really can't fault Sideshow for too much. Playing it safe in a hectic market can make or break you, maybe.
Yeah. And their ESs tell me it's breaking them thus far.
At the end of the day, all these companies are fighting for your money. You got collectors who used to buy 10, 20 Sideshow statues a year. Prime 1 catches their eye. Okay, I only buy 3. J&D catches their eye. I only buy 2.
Right.
There's so much competition now. You got to be a game in this kind of market that we're in.
Right. We're seeing companies slowly disappear, not because they don't want to make money.
Yeah.
It's because they can't. They're not. If you don't appeal to the people who, again, what we're saying is there's much less people who have the money to spend on these things and are choosing to spend money on these things. The pool of customers you have has clearly depleted greatly. So now all these companies are competing for the same small amount of collectors.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What's the grade? Oof.
I want to hurt them bad because they hurt me with Krampus, but I'm going to try to avoid that. It is going to, I don't. Oof. Okay. Pre-orders are good. Releases are good. The numbers are good. QC feels more improved this year than it was at least at the start of last year.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling better about that.
Art direction, I think, is not good. Customer service is good. Public relations, I guess, is fine.
It's improving slowly.
It's improving slowly. I don't love the way they were responding to people about the Krampus, but again, that's more of a personal gripe.
So 3-1.
Yeah.
But I think the 1 is the most important. Like, the art direction's not there.
I agree. Yeah, and it's not just me. The community has been very
Oh, for
vocal
sure.
about it. At the end of the day, I think of these as they are pieces. So, good art can't be a good art company.
Mm-hmm.
I think do I go B plus? Do I go B?
Well,
Because I was at A minus, and I'm not feeling as good about. I'm going to go B plus.
yeah.
I'm going to go B plus. Yeah.
I'll bring it down 1 to A minus. I think we discussed it, right? The art direction needs to be there, and it's not to say they didn't have a solid art direction on some pieces. The Croc was cool, right? There was some, but man, when you're hitting heavy characters like Kingpin, and then collectors are kind of giving you some feedback, and that's it. There's no reception there to make improvements or so forth. You're gonna get a knockdown for me. I think if they fix the art direction, focus on that, and bring some killer designs. Sideshow's unstoppable. A minus is where I am at.
Yeah. Yeah. If they kept Krampus where it was, A plus, and you fucked up. You did this, Sideshow. You did. No, I'm joking. It wouldn't have been an A plus, but I'm just saying, that would have been nice. I'm still holding out on this very small bit of hope.
Hey, you never know. Finiche. Wowzers. Let's get to some of these comments before we head out. Cristiano says, yeah, you're right. Sideshow not really wowing with their statues. They're good, but nothing eye-catching, really. Pulp Vixen line is good. I agree. Their original lines are fantastic. Theo with the super chat. Appreciate you, brother. Where's the freaking clip?
You son of a bitch.
Best segment on YouTube in regards to the hobby, fellas. Great to have these analytics in the community. Appreciate all the hard work, Vega and John. Massive shout out to Vega for putting all the analytics together. That's for sure.
Got to be good for something.
Yeah. Or just warming up the seat, right? All right. Waylon saying, my utopian suggestion for community backlogs is maybe an additional 1% back for every month it's delayed. This way it'll light a fire under these companies due to losing the money. They can then write. This way it will be light. Okay.
Oh, okay. I see what he did. It continues within that. They can then write this into their contract with the manufacturers. Yeah. If you're late, we're going to pay you 1% less a month. The product is delayed. Or this would at least force them to reevaluate and put out more realistic timelines. Bottom line, until there is a system that penalizes companies financially, I don't think there will be much change. Well, the thing is that there is nothing to penalize the companies because it would be the companies penalizing themselves. And they're not going to choose to do that.
I think the best approach with lates like that is just giving the collector the option, like Sideshow does, to receive the NRD back if they want to cancel. If you're not going to set a realistic time frame and meet it, then I should be able to get my NRD back if you go over time frame set. I think that would work well.
Yeah, I think the opportunity to get that NRD back, right? I think that it's an opportunity for collectors to demonstrate to companies, where they're at with the delays. Because again, it's not just that this delay is a personal gripe on the collector who wants the piece, is tired of waiting, is blah, blah, blah. Like, these delays end up resulting in a company hurting. So if you like your company and you want to feel more secure in them sticking around, you should want them to fix these issues.
Yeah.
Or they'll end up with you know,
The trio,
Tweeterhead and the Tweeterhead, yeah,
the Three
the-
Stooges.
the black hole of irrelevance.
Hate to see it. Eco says, appreciate this, the show. The statistician deep on this one. Overall, there are a lot of headwinds in the hobby, which is concerning. For sure. All right, guys. It's Vega. Huge shout out to you and putting the statue historical tracker together. It's awesome, man. You always kill it. We'll be back 6 months from now to give you the final report card.
Oh yeah.
That one I'm bringing a yardstick. Someone's gonna get a smack. Hopefully, they smarten up. These companies listen to some feedback, and you know, we can get those grades up.
I'm sure if you can't find a yardstick, you can probably borrow one of Piggy's whips. I'm sure he has plenty.
Oh, those are even better. Those nice little those wooden ones. Fuck.
Yeah, paddles. Good paddle.
And I'll wear the black mask too.
Oh
No, I'm
boy.
kidding. That's not my style. But
Yeah, wait for Valentine's Day.
I look like that fucking Riddler statue from Prime 1. All right, man. Appreciate you, everyone who stopped by and who was watching the replay. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully, you find these informative. You're not gonna get this info anywhere else. Big shout out to Vega as usual. Always in good company. We'll catch you later. We might actually be doing a live unboxing right after this, so stay tuned to the channel.
You guys are crazy.
I know, but we'll see. I'm gonna reach out to Slifer and see if he still wants to do it or if we do it tomorrow. But either way, stay safe, collect responsibly, and again, cheers to you, Vega. All the best, man.